Okay, yeah, as it says on screen right now, I am currently making dinner because I kind of just woke up from a nap, like, not that long ago, so, give me a bit, give me a bit. I'll be right back. I will try to keep chat along so that I can see at least what's going on, but otherwise, I am going to be slicing up some bread, toasting it, and throwing some bacon on. Anyhow. Okay, okay, I'm alive. Let's see. Let's say that it'll drop in like... I forgot to loop that. God damn, I forgot to loop that. Anyway, let's say that it'll drop into 4 hours. It'll drop in anywhere between half an hour from now, so like 20 minutes from now, or by 2 hours from now, give or take. So they can be pretty terrible in terms of timing, or they can be pretty good in terms of timing. Anyway, I haven't had dinner, so I am just going to quickly have at it. Well, yeah, he's Fum, and the identity they've given Fum is just so far Amplitude Entanglement into Tremor Scorch. Say hi for now, you'll watch the VODs. No worries, King, no worries. See you around later, see you around later. Is it out? Nah, not yet. Usually it would be in about half an hour from now, or 20 minutes from now. If not, up to 2 hours later. Up to 2 hours later. Anyhow, let's make this simple on you guys and like quickly pull up Limbus to see what we may get anyway. Pride would be nice to have, rather anything that offers resources towards... Anything that manages to offer resources towards Everlasting would be considered good. If not Everlasting, then for Lucio, at least for Asymmetrical Inertia. Well, at least for Asymmetrical Inertia would be nice, because, yeah, then we can at least get some extra bonuses from clock winding and extra sloth bullshit. Anyhow. Otherwise, we want anything at all. Any of these resources. We want Lust, Sloth, Gloom, and Pride specifically. Clock winding's passive is going to be insane. Yes, it would be quite insane. The only thing is, it's just one fragile. Clock winding itself is what you're after. Anyhow, hold on a moment. Go all the way back to part 1. Straight to Funny Lucio over here. Let's see, kits are due on the hour or every half hour after that. The reason I start this particular stream early is because sometimes they do release them early on the half hour. Better odds though that it's within the hour. If they release it late again, then yeah. Biggest worry is Rodya not being able to regain stacks of recognition. Similar to Callisto, one and done. Yeah, potentially. You just find it so funny that people have enough of Euro to beat Honglu's speed range and just swap him in for Lord. Okay. I'm gonna be so for real with you. Let me just figure out what team I would exactly make this into. Because I'm going to be so for real. You throw in Lord Hongers. You throw in Wei. You throw in Malforced. I hate to do this. I genuinely hate to do this. You have these two here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you have the 2 new members of the fun. Rest of the guys, throw in the correct passives, you're done. Oh, and have one more Heisho to swap, or have one more guy on field to swap between. Now you have a working Tremor team. It is genuinely stupid. You want an actual Tremor Force? Yeah, I do too. Don't worry. I do too. Like, when I release the guide, it'll probably be something close. I'll be honest. It'll probably be something close to what you're seeing on screen. It's just, yeah. You just don't have amazing options all the time. And sometimes you just gotta make do with the options they fucking shove you. And the options they shove us are like... There's some potentially disgusting ones. Like, there's some funny techs you could do. You could take Moller Boats, and you could swap this guy to the bird. Now the bird goes the slowest. And now Crushing Crabs can do some funny things, because the only problem is lowest max HP, so that's not happening. Anyway, you can do a lot of funny things if you have a Gregor with low max HP, and then decide to use Unbrilliant Glory, basically. Blue Association Rodya better than Fun Rodya? Like hell. There is no universe where that would be the case, basically. Let's see, not suddenly one day, we're looking for ticket. Here we go, copy di Taglio, copy di Punta. Desiontura di Cogli. Fuck my what's it called, Italian, I am not going to manage any of this. There we go. Disposal. The only one we care about. This will probably be her enhanced one. Hopefully False gets a new ID this wallpaper since her last wallpaper was the first wallpaper. Could be, yeah. Could be. Nah, they wouldn't bother giving us Salvador. Salvador's just a grade 3 from what I recall. Grade 2 or grade 3. He didn't get like all the way up to grade 1. At the point for wallpaper that we're at, it would not be surprising if they just gave us a grade 1. Fun wallpaper would be funny, because that means we'd have an entire fun team. Meanwhile, Don in the corner. Yeah, Don's not having a fun time in the corner. Giving us Shin, but not giving us Mung. Yeah, you're right. There are a couple of these cunts, Nursefathers, that do have Mung rings and generate Mung in their capabilities as well. Yeah, literally right here, generate 1 Mung. With this skill generated Mung, lose 10 SP, blah blah blah. I don't remember if it exactly tells us what skills do when they do have Mung though. Or if it's just a stylish effect instead. We have a Soto couple now, maybe Kalo and Catriol. If If they really did just double down and give us FUM wallpaper after giving us FUM IDs, I think people would just be pissed at that point. Yeah, Dong Juan the goat. Yeah, give us Dong Juan. Bamboo had to convict him because she's level 77. Lamau. Kim was like, what, 81? Something like that. Getting 2 proxies would leave another proxy plus Yan. Yeah, kinda, yeah. Now, if they really wanted to fuck around, they'd give us Gloria instead. Gloria would be really funny. Morning, Senti. Morning. I'm just finishing up dinner. No, an index team would be fun. It's just the one thing stopping them from being particularly fun is the fact that you would want assist defenses to cover for all of them trying to jump on the same target, basically. If you can do an index team with assist defenses, it would be very stupid. Yeah, asking 3 questions to enter Hum Hung Pung Pung. And the first one is explain what Shin and Mang do. You have 10 seconds. Goodbye. Yeah, bosses with 1 part, index is incredible. Bosses with multiple parts, index is still incredible. Maybe a unique item that you can use. Add 1 Mang. Nah. Nah, then you'd be going as far as nitpicking, like, say, FGO, where they eventually got to the point of upgrading things to the point where, oh, this particular skill card does enhanced effects compared to the rest of them because you upgraded it. We do not want to get to that level of incremental gearing, not in Limbus. God, no, we do not want that in Limbus. We should probably get Index Force before the season ends. Index Force, like, she's okay. She's not a must-have by any stretch of the imagination. If you luck her out on Wall PP, go ahead. But otherwise, she's nothing, like, stupid crazy. She does eventually become a pretty good sinking stim. At least sinking potency stim. Once you've got everything going. Simply because of this last line here, the 9 Grace of Prescript, 1 more sinking potency, 1 more poise potency. It doesn't suddenly turn her self-sufficient, however, it does turn her into someone that hits pretty hard and has a spot on 2 different teams. Is ID out? Let's see, it is 6:54. In about 6 minutes the ID may come out. If not, we'll get patch notes at the very least, basically. Mang is hype moments and Shin is aura. You're not wrong. It does seem to come up like that more often than not. Except for the time where the bus team literally gets, like, absolutely destroyed in the prologue. By what people are still assuming to this day are the Purple Tears minions. We'll see if they ever come back. They may come back, they should come back. Otherwise being a one and done is pretty depressing. Could limit how much Hmongs each identity have, as well as not making it scarce. They put in a Reflectron. From what I recall of that one node that talks about Shin and Hmong. Hang on. See if I can find it. Twining Threads. Twining Threads, it's when they first come back. Relics in the Sign, I think it is. It's either Relics in the Sign or... yeah, it should be Relics in the Sign. Or Renketsuin. It's one of the two. Let me just skip through this a bit and see if I can find it. Let's see, do you think we could beat them by then? Don't see them as insanely... they didn't seem insanely strong. All depends, all depends. Yeah, this one would be the one that talks about Shin and Hmong. For the most part, you can break it down as an extra power system accessible in the city. It's just that some people can manage to pull it off and others cannot, basically. Requires a lot of self-introspection, and apparently there is a very big price to pay, is what I recall. Let me see if I can get us that exact explanation, and I can just read it out to you guys. Hang on, I'm just gonna turn down the music a bit on my end. I don't have to hear the lobby music blasting through my ear. Didn't Vesper offer to teach us Shin and Hmong? I believe he said anyone could learn it. But there are some that couldn't, but yes. Anyhow, let's see what they had to say about it, because they're still talking about the sign here. Sinclair gets his crumbs, because of course Sinclair gets his crumbs. Blah blah blah, still more about Sinclair. Oh, there we go. Not just that, he was using that Hmong technique quite effortlessly too. What, that glowing ring thing? Yup, that glowing ring thing. He had two of them coiled around his weapon. I used the glowing ring thing? This is the first time I'm hearing anything about it. The in-story explanation was that it is extremely unlikely outside of extraordinary circumstances, foreshadowing, but Dante's notes say flat out can't do it while sinners. Yes, I believe that's roughly the consensus that most people have come to. Technique that enhances physical capability, blah blah blah. Flashy aura thing that makes you real tough is one part of it, there's gotta be more. See, they ruminate on it for a bit before they point over at both Virgilius and Vesper. Mister's fine. I am still a dude at the end of the day, mate. Anyway, how do you think Odin's Eye would be implemented? Likely like any of the other stuff where it is just... Let's see, I believe she has an overheat mechanic instead. So it might be that it starts good, heats up, and you need to maintain it within a certain stack range. If they do it that way, then cool. Knowing current Limbus design though, it'll probably be rather frictionless, so it's unlikely that it would be able to overheat necessarily. We'll see what they decide to do with it. I only learned to wield it from my team leader too. I have a sensory understanding of Shin, but I can claim nothing too profound. However, what I can spare are some rumors, though they are all without proper sources. Rumors? They circulated among elite fixers and association leadership, that there exists a power called Shin capable of enhancing the body without having to pay expensive upkeep costs. Hmong for Virgilius gives 1 coin power, 30% for every Hmong. Christ. The rumor among fixers says foul. Yes. Even the technique to manifest it, how-to tips really, is spread through hearsay. Yep, Kira about shiny man rings. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. These two going on about their fixes monthly. Otis staring along. Yes, from what she recalls, the Mantle of Shin grants its users a high degree of physical enhancement. There is no such thing as reinforcement without supplies. No power of that magnitude comes without an equivalent cost to wield it. There are good odds she's been able to use it before. Oh, update notice. Alright, hang on. Let's see what we're getting. Let me just put away the game screen. We don't need it for now. Okay. Yep, maintenance through the usual time. We are going to be getting both of them on a double banner, because of course, it'll be Otis in the background. Otherwise, it's the two IDs. There's going to be the usual 4-ticket affair if you want to whale for whatever reason. Typically, it's a little bit cheaper than buying the usual monthly 5-pack. Would not recommend necessarily, because after all, you can just shard things. Anyway, major changes. A feature allowing managers to freely rearrange the order of team presets will be added. Okay, so we can start shifting this stuff around. That's nice. Aside from that, it's bug fixes and improvements. God damn it. Huh? Oh, Christ. System has been adjusted so devices equipped with Mali series GPUs instead of Vulkan stuff should be able to launch things. Okay. Aside from that, skill 2, a moral enhancement of the one who shall grip. Huh. Would function differently as intended. The power value of coin 1 was applied as -1. Oh. The power value of coin 1 has been corrected to -3. Okay, fair. No mobile fix, yeah, seems no further mobile fixes aside from that. If you had one of those relevant GPUs, you'd be able to fix crashes, but aside from that, nah, you get nothing. Fix an issue where some speech bubbles would not be displayed. Fix an issue where in certain situations, Blade Lineage would display unnatural skill motions when using to claim their bones while projecting Moonlit Farewell. Huh. Fix an issue where the placement of assist units featured in certain stages of Frenetic Experience would not function as intended. Assist units and Sinners were arranged in a mixed order depending on the assist unit speed. Assist units will now always be placed in front, regardless of their speed. So that's a presentation matter, basically. Tremor bursts would not appear, blah blah blah. Fix an issue when entering Reflectral immediately after launching the game. The enemy observation log will be unavailable for viewing. Doesn't seem to be anything too harsh. There is a known issue where some resources for the FUM identities are implemented unnaturally. This is not an issue affecting the unit's performance, but rather where certain visual elements have been implemented differently from the intended setting. We'll be getting 300 lunacy. That is all. You have air attack sirens blaring outside. Mate, now's not the time to be watching a stream. Go take shelter. Bloody hell. Your life is more important than watching a random PM content creator talk about patch notes. There's nothing. Thank you, son. Christ. Okay. Down. Let me just rearrange the positioning of this model just a little bit. There we go. Get more of my head out of the way of chat. The kit reveal tomorrow? Kit reveal today, mate. Kit reveal today. It's just gonna be in either 25 minutes or the hour after, basically. Fixed missing tremor burst typography is about Zwei Ishmael. It might be, it might be. And anywhere is possible, it's just some places are far more likely than they really should be. Anyhow, let me quickly get back to that Shin explanation. Is it kit revealed today? Yes, it is. It will be within the next hour and a half, most likely. That power relies on emotion and will for manifestation. Its output is not consistent like prosthesis and augmentation, and depending on how it's used, the consequence it demands can reach levels comparable to the ego you use. Means to say it exacts a toll on the mind. Walk you through the fundamentals. Consider at our current level, it is not unreasonable to assume we could make use of it. Regarding that, our team leader has been conducting intensive research, and according to her, physical strength itself has little bearing on one's ability to learn and wield Shin. As the Yellow Harpoon says, it is in essence a power that can be learned by almost anyone, provided they know the proper method of training. If we were to exaggerate, even Sinner Yi-sung's pre-contract self could manage to learn it. Always the same schedule? Not always, not always. There is a variance of up to an hour earlier or an hour later from the usual timing. So that would be about 7:30 my time, which would be about half an hour from now. Would normally be the time that stuff is revealed. However, last time they did, it was the hour late, so it came out at 8:30 in my time, so it was like 2 hours, or it was like an hour and a half from now instead. Even so, it would be a mistake to assume it's a power anyone can grasp with ease. As you are bound by contracts as sinners, your ability to wield it will be severely limited, unless you rely on particular identities or come upon an extraordinary circumstance. Therefore, most likely, extraordinary circumstance. Let's see, Tuesday's ID teaser, Friday is ID trailer, Monday is kit reveal. Yes, typically speaking, yes. But yes, then we get just the fact that Matthias definitely would not have been able to wield it. Normally they dropped 30 minutes after patch notes, yes. Unless they have multiple patch notes. When they have multiple patch notes, then it is a fair bit more unfortunate. At that point, you end up with, how to say? At that point, you end up with a fair bit more delays. Like last week. Because let's see, if I pull up Twitter again... Well, not last week, 2 weeks ago. Whenever we got the Intervalo drop, basically. First, no Refraction Railway 6. Now, no kits, bruh. Love the Library of Ruiner music. This is just, like, the least offensive piece to put in the background, basically. Let's see, yeah, last time it was dropped at 8:30. 8:30 being about an hour and 20 minutes from now. Delay again? We don't know for sure. I'm currently, like, I'm early. Don't get me wrong, I'm early. It's not exactly delayed just yet. If it doesn't get dropped at 7:30, so in 20 minutes from now, you can go ahead and throw in the, you tricked me at that point. But yes, currently we are the early ones. Currently. But yeah, realistically speaking, you can pick anything to replace. These two will be the new thumb. You've got the thumb here. And if you want to be disgusting, it's Lord Honger's, Wei, Moused, done. Otis, just pick one of her supports and you're solved. Tremor is kind of just that easy these days, and, well, it's 4 thumb IDs and stuff that has nothing to do with fucking Tremor, I guess, except for Yi-Sun. Because Faust exists to everlasting, and that's ass to me, but yeah. N-Corp Team Refract Trial would be horrifying. Can we have an opinion on Crit Burst? Yeah. The bloody hell do you mean by, like, Crit Burst? I think Rodya will ramp down ID like most FUM IDs when they have ammo is gone. Perhaps, perhaps. All depends on how they want to hand her acceleration rounds. Because she does have a unique bullet. Acceleration round, spend it. I don't think she has a specific one where it's acceleration round, generate it though. When you start the encounter, you start it with 30 Eyes of Recognition, and you slowly stack them over to Eyes of... or Overheat instead. Accelerating Future with every clash. Gain up to Precognition stacks, Acceleration Future per turn. At 1+ acceleration round, skills that spend blah blah blah. Okay, she doesn't have a way to gain it back. She does have ways of spending it. So it could be that she is very upfront, very alpha strikey, but then doesn't have very much. Will Rodya have that horrifying evade encounter? Maybe. If she does, it will be very disgusting. Simply put, yes, it will be very, very disgusting. Simply because we'd be looking at here, Precognition. If we look at the exact numbers, the base doesn't look that bad until you see Precognition stacks and you're like, oh, sweet fucking Jesus. Full ammo disposal versus empty ammo disposal, yeah. Seems to have a reload in the trailer, but also looks like paint your shoes, so we'll see, we'll see. You never know with this kind of thing. You never know. At random, a Tremor Burst can crit burst, gain properties like blah blah blah, higher chance of happening if... I think that's a bit too absurd, really. You don't want to add more things that can proc. Adding things that proc, you want that if you want things to go out of hand. You don't want that if you want things to be consistent. The trouble with that, Alex, is if you decide to go with that, Everlasting becomes the single most broken thing in existence. And we do not want that. Because Tremor Everlasting is simply just... You gain additional bursts, or the potential to double or triple burst, basically. It is very disgusting. Like, you do not want that to be a thing. Because then you're fishing for crits, and then you wouldn't even be using Lord Hongers there. You wouldn't even be fielding Eurodivi Hongers. You'd be using Eurodivi Hongers in the back line, just to have that 25% more chance of triggering an additional burst, or another burst. And then just burst on top of burst. It would be very stupid to be doing any kind of critical burst. Still don't understand how his swords consume ammo, it just seems to prolong. Like, in terms of his swords consuming ammo, their acceleration rounds, it's going to be the funny thing of Bum East, where they just fire bullets to move faster, basically. Likely, the blasting cap is just face the other way, so you're in fact shooting in your own direction for all the stabs and whatnot. Real funky. Bum uses bullets to accelerate their hits, and yes, I hate it. I genuinely hate it. Yes, it has a built-in revolver. Jetstream Sam's case, though, makes sense, because he's shooting it out to do his EI slash, basically. He doesn't do it for his other slashes, he does it specifically for the EI, which is why it is pointed in the direction that it is, able to be pointed forwards from the katana. In comparison, Valencina's ones are a little funky. Hang on. I could just get into the fight, even. Yeah, I could just hop into the fight real quick. Let's see. Just bring all the sinking cunts. Her glove is heat resistant, probably. Who knows, who knows. But hang on a moment here for you guys. They go ahead and pause that Ruiner music. If it would like to pause itself, thank you very much. And you may now have fun stuff playing. We start with Lucio only. We can save that. Really? Neutral. You don't even get to clash that one. Great. One-sided. Bro, are we that slow? What is it? Oh, it's target fixed. Okay. Whatever. That is fine. Let's go. It'd be funny if Heathcliff gets more lore from the Northern, as Wild Hunt is a lot more Northern. Potentially. Sorry about the flashbang. Anyway. What if the PM will expand on it? Blah, blah, blah. That offered some T-Corp nonsense where bullets are full of time and making them use... make time flow faster for a sword. That would be pretty funny. I wouldn't put them beyond that if that's what they decide to do with it, honestly. Well. Wow, look at that. Nothing done. Anyway. Boss Wall PP versus Heathcliff's Wild Hunt in Canto 12. Maybe when target fixed. Yes, target is fixed. Whelp for Merceau players. Merceau's already had enough nice toys in Whelp. Is what I'd say. Don needs something badly. Don getting something would be nice, yes. The stretched carpet on the stage is mildly irritating. Alright, Sonic, you did point that particular thing out. Yeah. We know the skills for the IDs yet. Buddy. We're still early. Earliest is going to be in 12 minutes, mate. You think they broke the carpet when they updated the engine? Hang on. Totokapodon, trust me. Classy, respectable, and still tiny. However, as a syndicate member instead of a fixer. And it's always weird when they do that. At this point, Honglu's Nursefather is the weakest. Honglu's Nursefather is like... requires the most stuff to function in normal gameplay, but otherwise, yeah. Wait, so this whole thing is just a stretched carpet texture at this point. Yeah, it kinda does look pretty awkward now. Well, it doesn't look fantastic now. It's supposed to be carpet. The ceiling is also the carpet. Oh god. Who do I think is going to be this fall PP? Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they just gave us the red mists. I will not lie. Because we are in Star of the City at this point, and the red mist we get from the library isn't like full-on, full-power red mist, so to speak. I wouldn't put it beyond us to get stuff from the second row. Stuff from the first row of Star of the City, though, easily. So who knows, we might even see Kane Office. Like, I'm gonna have to roll for these two regardless. It's just that if it's just the goal is to get at least one of them, and that'll be fine with me. Because then I'll just borrow someone else's for the second one. Look, anyone who says that we're not in Star of the City level already, we have the fucking Night Owls. Night Owls are first row Star of the City. First row Star of the City is not that ridiculous to be saying that we have. Rather, I'd say it's pretty par for the course to say that we have it. When's the reveal? Reveals should be either in 10 minutes or every half hour from then on. If this is the finger season, should be a far more index from Ruiner to fill in. If they decide to do so. If. Otherwise, it could be funny if this ends up being the first time they decide, oh, but what if we did a distortion detective while PP? Nah, not in 40 minutes usually. 40 minutes is they have a second patch note they need to drop. So that's if there's new content, specifically. The announcers don't the announcers relate to the IDs or egos in some way? The problem is, if we go by that specifically for Bina, all of Bina's stuff, all the books you need for Bina are very high up there, to the point where the game could just be over. It could just be Impuritus by that time if you think it's Bina, basically. Oh, this is where the fun begins. Where everything we clash into is just gonna be painful. So whatever we can get Virgilius to clash into would be very nice. Because yeah, we ain't gonna be able to clash into shit. We ain't gonna be able to clash into shit, so Virgilius needs to take all of the harder clashes for us if possible. Disposal's gonna hurt regardless, I think. Yeah, we can't steal Disposal. And if you ego, you will corrode, so sorry Rodya, you are going to eat shits. You are going to eat absolute shit. Let's see. Here's what it is. People's argument to Star City is because Alan and Hanafuda were in Kanto 8. Now, the thing is, Hanafuda is only Urban Plague. You can get Hanafuda a lot earlier. Getting Alan, though, getting Alan is pretty massive. You think we're getting a Ruiner ID on Ego Gear 1? It's Ruiner. Last one was they flip-flop between the two. Yeah, Tifaref is like the main one where it does match up. Gotta love everyone getting beaten the absolute shit out of. Got on you, good for you. Yeah. See if more rebranded or re-established officers. Yeah. Shower low well because the Lu team needs more care. The thing with the Lu is it feels like the Lu have been regulated just being used for... Seems like the Lu have been regulated for specifically standard reception or standard IDs at this point. Okay, on your own you take up 3, so we need to do something about the first 3. We don't really have good answers for dealing with the first 3. Not amazing answers, at least. We can be favored and still eat shit. Basically. However, we can use Gregor to fuck around and find out. This is fine with me. Blue Director IDs didn't fix very much. Yeah, it fixed like jack and shit, realistically speaking, mate. Saying very much is an understatement, basically. And yeah, 1 case out of 8 times is not particularly common. Wouldn't mind Lu IDs if you really want to see something or anything about the Trez or the 8s. The funny thing with the 8s is the one member of the 8s that we are aware of, from what I recall, is Ahab formerly being a member of the 8s. Which does give us something in the way of a clue, I guess. Wow. Actually dealing damage? At this point, yeah, we can just damage rate. Damage rate and pray. That's a lot of screaming for Valentina. Anyway. 8 Association, yes, they exist. Really? An exact 20? Oh, you're such a cunt. But yeah, this fight's basically over. Or rather, it basically solves itself from here. Yep. I will just let funny, dramatic moment play out on its own time. Why would they blue ball us with a general reception? They probably won't again, and if they... At least, they won't give us, like, a shoddy one, so to speak. If they give us one, they've got quite a few options, now that we're at Starter City. The only problem is if they give us Yai's office, so the smoke office, that's going to be really stupid, basically. Don't do it, Lucio. That's base Gregor. Yeah. 3 more minutes, maybe? Yeah, 3 more minutes, maybe. Yeah, if we get Leaflet, it's going to be a lot of screaming. Because then that means we just have smoke. Unfortunately, smoke is just fragile. Love how Virgilius clashes that high casually with no effort to use Mong. Yep. Ujat. I would hold out hope for Ujat simply because we do have that one section that says, oh, should Fracture expires if there's no other LCA members? So if we got more LCA members, that'd be pretty fucking good. Not like Leaflet, because God knows how they will implement Yai's robot head. What have you done, Lucio? Ah, yes. PTSD. A lot of fights feel weird because they want high numbers to show they're clearly stronger. And then there's Kanto 6 Virgilius being stronger than Kanto 9's version. Hail him now. Vesper or Moses. If they do Vesper or Moses, then that opens up Wall PP to Distortion Detective at that point. Not that they have too many characters they can realistically pull, basically. Nemo Don, but her face is a VTuber avatar. Oh god. Be mildly horrifying to get. Let's see, and Polly, the way that I put it is, before Kanto 6, the numbers were not important. From Kanto 7 onwards, they made the numbers really fucking important. Okay, shit's out. Let's go skip along. Let me go find some fun music to put on. Let's see, Kanto 9, we'll go story themes, and we'll just go thumbs down. Let me go open these up in a proper browser to be able to see them properly and all that. Let's see, image and new tab, image and new tab. Lucio's only 2 pages. 2 pages in the new format. Yeah, 2 pages in the new format is still pretty beefy, but 2 pages nonetheless. Let me go full screen this, and hang on. Okay. Let's see then, since these are newer IDs, it is better to start with their passives rather than going straight to their skills, so let's see what we got here. At base skill end, so Duello Disperado. At base skill end against an enemy, if the target is defeated while having the duel escalates on any of its parts, gain Maturing Textbook. If the main target isn't defeated, inflict X, the duel escalates on the main targets. If there was a clash against the said main target using the said base skill, inflict duel escalates on main target instead. So, as expected, you want to focus it down. At clash start against a target that has the duel escalates, heal SP equal to the duel escalate stacks on targets. For the duel escalates itself, it's just bonuses, so they say currently. Severed tendon. Oh, that doesn't sound great. And aside from that, Maturing Textbook, which is base skills deal more damage. We can only get so many stacks of this per turn. From then on, Desperate Struggle. If the House of Spiders, the Nursefather Rodya is on the field, activate the following. Does not activate in turns where the unit is panicked or staggered. When the Nursefather that has Eye of Recognition hits an enemy with a base skill, as its attack end, follow up with La Spada di Palermo as an unopposed attack against the target. So he just does a free assist attack. Got it. Combat starts. When the Nursefather, when they have Eye of Recognition overheats, is targeted by an enemy's unopposed skill, he go ahead and assist defenses, basically. Yeah. So assist attack if Eye of Recognition. If Eye of Recognition overheats, assist defense for free. Let's see, for Psyche, so for murdering the guy, for House of Spiders Yoroshu, we are looking at Entanglement as per usual, and then Clash Wind using a base skill, inflict Tremor, and trigger Tremor Burst, then reduce the target's Tremor count. That's not necessarily turning her into a Tremor ID, but it is allowing for some pure and utter bullshit in the Mirror Dungeon, is what I can say. Definitely is allowing for some pure bullshit in the Mirror Dungeon, if we can just Tremor Burst for free like this. Palametan Style. Gain the following effects based on Maturing Textbook on self, plus the duel escalates on the main target. Gain base skills, deal more power for every combined stack. Okay. More clash power. Base skills gain base power. On hit using a base skill, inflict Severed Tendon. Severed Tendon makes them lose base power, which is pretty damn strong, all things considered. Base skills gain final power, and finally base skills deal more damage. Take less damage for every Maturing Textbook on self, and duel escalates on the targets. So this seems all very straightforward. Lucio is very straightforward. Stack up duel escalates, abuse it with Maturing Textbook. We gain Maturing Textbook if we manage to murder things, so we want to convert duel escalate stacks into Maturing Textbook stacks. And all it says is at base skill ended. And okay, so we have to be the one that kills it. Okay, that's a bit rougher. That's actually quite a bit rougher to make use of, actually. Oh. I mean, if he steals kills off of Rodya, that might do it, but otherwise, this is... Depending on how the numbers work, this might be a bit unfortunate, basically. Depending on how the numbers work, it may be very, very unfortunate. As for the support passive, in one-on-one duels, one ally with the fastest speed, on clash against base attacks, while using base attack skills, inflict burn count on targets. Prioritizes FUM IDs. If the ally is the FUM identity. Inflict burn count and tremor count instead. Combat starts if there's only one enemy on the field for abnormalities, a core. This effect inflicts more burn count and tremor count. That's actually a really stupid good support passive. Oh. If you really wanted to, and you wanted to do a more tremor burn, tremor scorch centric setup, you'd just put this guy in the back instead, I guess. Unless his numbers are actually that nice. Okay, so Roshu's shield breaker now. Yeah, not really. Nothing here says that that turns her into a shield breaker. It's only for the latest fight where she would be considered a shield breaker. What do you mean, Rodya? Anyway. Moving along. The Heathcliff himself. The Spada di Palermo. So, I believe this is what he would use on his assist attack, even. Hang on. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Yep, this is what he uses on his assist attack. Skill 1. It's actually a pretty barren looking sheet. Like, this is kind of sad. He would be a 00 if 00 still existed, by the look of it. It's burn and tremor potency, dual power, dual coin power. Guess would be like, what? Starts at 11, so like, what? 5, 3, 3, and then turns into 5, 5, 5. Something like that. So probably only gets to 15, and then his other stuff, increasing his base, would help out, and reducing other person's base would help out too. Let's see, Kolpi Sultani, gain coin power, dual status, Flash Win, if it has dual escalates, inflict tremor count, very nice. On hits, inflict burn counts, on hit, inflict tremor and tremor count. Okay, this alone should already stabilize tremor, and it's on sloth, makes sense. Then on hits, if this skill has maturing textbook, or if the target has dual escalates, trigger tremor burst, and okay, maybe not. Depends on how much this inflicts. So this is... this might be a bit more troublesome than initially expected. If only the assist attack was the thing that gave tremor count, that would actually be disgusting, though. Probably. That would actually be disgusting. Then Il Cacciatore. I need my bloody Italian consultant, but the cunt is indisposed currently, unfortunately. Before use, if the target has over X dual escalates, we activate the other thing instead. Okay. But specifically dual escalates, so not maturing textbook. We don't get this for free just for maturing textbook. We need to actually escalate the dual first. And that may take a while, depending on the numbers they give us. Considering nothing else seems to inflict dual escalates outside of the passive, so... this might be troublesome to actually rev him up. The thing is, every time I say that, take it with a grain of salt. Every time I say this may be troublesome. Because current ID design has been, like, frictionless. I went under the assumption that House of Spiders Roshu would need a bit more effort. A bit more effort, a bit more help to kill allies. But unfortunately, no. It is just that easy. Anyway. Gain coin power for burn and tremor, so dual status. Gain the following effects for dual escalates. Tremor potency, tremor counts. Burn potency, burn counts. So up to 4, because when we're at 5, it's going to be activating the skill 3-2 instead, so it would be irrelevant to add a line like that. If it has maturing textbook, or if the target has a certain amount of dual escalates, everything becomes unbreakable. Aside from that, burn counts, tremor counts, and deal more damage for every X maturing textbook stack. Trigger amplitude conversion into tremor scorch, because of course it does. Trigger a tremor burst, reduce tremor counts. If it has maturing textbook, or dual escalates over certain amounts, we do another tremor burst and tremor count. Simple as. For the enhanced version... Should I even bother trying to read that? Cesio Natura di Servo. Never make me read Italian. The only Italian or Latin at that point that I know is Witty Witty Wishy. Anyway. Gain maturing textbook attack weight. So, okay, we do have an AoE. Gain coin power for every dual status. Main targets when attacking. X targets deal more damage. Deal more damage for every excess attack weight beyond the number of actual targets. The X here might just be 1. Which OC model is this? This one is Hoshino. Anyhow. Consume all dual escalates on the main targets. Gain X maturing targets. If the main target is defeated, gain more maturing textbook instead. Okay, we have a way of gaining maturing textbook without needing to kill the target. So there's some mercy, basically. Otherwise, it's burn counts, tremor counts, a vanilla coin. Wow. Wow, that's rare. Just a plain vanilla unbreakable coin. They do have to specify it here because it is unbreakable. Aside from that, coin start specifically. Huh. Okay. Oh. So if we kill things within the AoE, if we kill the main target within the AoE and gain maturing textbook during that, then the things behind it that get caught up not being the main target will face extra coin power from maturing textbook. That is really weird that they have to do it that way. That is really weird they have to do it that way. But aside from that, it triggers amplitude conversion and gives us 1 tremor burst. Like, this reads more like the standard to expect for an ID these days. At least the dual status ID that isn't supposed to be something stupid crazy. This is our baseline now, I guess. Depending on the numbers could be completely and utterly ridiculous. However, we don't know. As for 0 damage conditional, 0 bursts, no, there's some bursts. There's some bursts. There's a burst on the skill 2, there's up to 2 bursts on the skill 3, and 1 burst on the skill 3-2. However, in addition to those, if you go for, say, let's see, in addition to those, for damage bonuses, we're specifically looking at maturing textbook and potentially what we get out of Palamitan style, basically. Otherwise, yes, he is pretty much a clash merchant, as the fella puts it. Anyhow, aside from that, he's got a clashable counter and an assist defense. He does gain protection and does that nice thing that Undo does and heals SP for someone protected by an assist defense as well. Aside from that, the clashable is final power instead of coin count or coin power. But yeah, he is definitely a baseline. The funny thing is, Thumb Sinclair may outdamage him, and that would be genuinely funny if a random Soldato is able to outdamage Lucio or Lucio Heathcliff. Yeah, he's very straightforward. The problem is, we did just get a Hongers that was basically this, but in bleed. Bleed and poise. So he doesn't really feel that unique currently. You like simple and straightforward? Like, simple and straightforward's fine. Every now and then you need vanilla. Or the rest of the spicier stuff to actually, you know, be spicy. It's just that maybe that might have been a bit too vanilla considering we just had an ID that is pretty close to the same. You're betting on him rolling high? If he rolls high, it'd be fucking fantastic. S-Corp Honglu has damage conditionals. The thing is, depending on how high the damage conditional from maturing textbook is, it could be even more disgusting. That may just be where he gets his damage from. Anyway. Let's take a look at Rodya. A lot of passives. Stuff we could expect pretty much from Valentina. Yep. Okay. Eye of Recognition. Let's see. Upon entering the encounter for the first time, gain an Eye of Recognition. Add 0 stacks of Eye of Recognition. Change it into Overheat. Okay, yep. While this has Eye of Recognition, activate the following effects. Okay. Okay. So this first chunk here is all vanilla Eye of Recognition. In a clash, gain Accelerating Future with every clash. Accelerating Future lets us deal more damage using base skills for every X stack. Base skills gain clash power for every X stack. At X stack, base skills gain coin power. Well, shit. And then at skill end, effect expires. Okay. Okay, if it's just for the one skill, that's not as bad. So every time she clashes, every coin we delete, every coin of ours that gets deleted, accelerating future stacks up. Okay. Aside from that, while we still have Eye of Precognition, when we're attacked by an unopposed attack specifically, unbreakable coin attack, or losing a clash against an attack skill. So, just say everything. Just say everything. Activate the Precognition skill. Let's see, the following causes this unit to lose Eye of Precognition stacks. We lose a stack of it with every clash. If it's 30 of it, that means 30 coins worth of clashing. We'll see how much it ends up being in the end. When this skill activates the Precognition skill via the passive effects due to being attacked by an unopposed or unbreakable, lose Precognition stacks. When this unit activates the Precognition skill, we also lose Eye of Precognition. Aside from that, at the end of turn, this unit's Eye of Precognition is converted into Eye of Precognition overheats. So once we hit 0 stacks, we gain the following effects. We reload, and at the start of the next turn, if this unit has no disposal on its dashboard, replace a skill with disposal. Oh, so we do want to run shit down. Okay. Aren't green coins considered unbreakable? They're specifically called excision coins. They eat unbreakable coins. I'm not sure if they count as unbreakable coins in the same vein, necessarily. Because you can clash them out. I don't know. Would have to look back on it at some point. The low-key gets the spam disposal. Depends. Do we have a way of getting Eye of Precognition stacks back? Is the thing. If we don't, then she kinda doesn't. Because, yeah, it's at the start of the next turn. If this unit has no disposal on its dashboard, replace a base skill with disposal. Okay. Reload once per encounter. Yeah, that's kind of the trouble, isn't it? Anyhow, the following causes this unit to gain Shin Disgrace the next turn. The moment Eye of Precognition drops to 0, if staggered, and if Heathcliff dies. And if Heathcliff's already dead, she starts with Shin. Okay. For the overheat version, we gain more offense level and lose defense level. At X stack, let's see, gain stacks for it. And at a certain number of stacks we convert it back to Eye of Precognition. Okay. So we have a way of going back. And then we can make use of it. If it's 30, refills... If it's 30, then refills back, then we have to drop it down again. From there, we are going to get to use disposal like once. That's not twice, not 3 times. That's just once, basically. We want to clash her into stuff with high coin counts, and we want her to clash into unbreakables, specifically unbreakables of high coin count. So this is a much more targeted affair than I thought it would be. That is very nice, though. Disposal reuses on kill, by the way. Yeah, that's filthy. But anyway, we'll see. The shame of the I hate pronouncing this. Like, I genuinely hate pronouncing Italian without having a guide for it. The shame, the Famiglia Bognatelli. Gain poise, and poise counts for every acceleration round spent. When flipping a coin that spends acceleration round, the attack does not get cancelled even when the unit is out of acceleration rounds. Bullets not essential, basically. This identity only counts as an identity that inflicts burn and tremor. No poise for you boys. Beyond there, turn starts. If this unit has disposal, inflict game targets on the enemy this unit attacked last turn. So we do need to be a bit more careful about who he targets, though there aren't like that many stupid hard focused encounters that we can fully make use of it. Oh, if the target's dead, then yeah, game target. On the thing with the lowest HP instead. Alright, so how broken are they? Figuring that out. Let's see, Psyche. The Thumb. If defeated, blah blah blah, gain entanglement. Defense skill gains coin power. Base attack skills deal more damage against targets that have shield. Okay. Nice. But like, how much more? And do we care quite as much as we think? Anyhow. Moving along. Game target itself is more damage. Because of course it is, and you want to use disposal on the target with game targets. Shin Disgrace is Tremor, Burn Potency, minimum and maximum speed, and deal more damage for poise potency on self. Okay? Acceleration round, spent when using certain skills. We've covered the rest of those. As for her actual fueled passive, the passive we need to care about, let's see. If this unit has X plus acceleration round, skill free gains coin power and deals more damage. That's it. And deal more damage using base skills for every X burn on the main target. If the main target has shield, deal even more damage using base skills. Okay. Okay, they just wanted Im Gyung-yup to like die in like 2 turns, basically. The moment these drop, the Reflect Trial is just going to become piss easy. How good is the Walpurgis bait so far? If you like the Thumb, it's solid enough. Otherwise, I haven't seen Rodya's skills. I've seen Heathcliff. Heathcliff's okay. Heathcliff's kind of just okay. But we'll see. Okay, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 skills. Oh, and there's straight up a skill here called Fuck Off. Fantastic. Let's see. Copy di Taglio. That's X plus poise, gain final power, and then dual status. Okay. Clash win, lose number of remaining coins Eye of Recognition on self. Deal more damage for every X stack lost. Okay. So we can lose two Eyes of Recognition here. That's it. We can lose 2 Eyes of Recognition here. We also lose it. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. With every clash. So, okay, we can lose quite a bit. We can lose quite a bit rather quickly. Yeah, we can lose quite a bit. Because if, say, she had to clash 3 times to, like, take out a free coiner, still has 2 coins, that's losing 5 Eye of Recognition. Aside from that, Burn Tremor and Burn Tremor counts. Yep, pretty nice. Let's see. Gladly blast a hole through ya. If this unit doesn't have acceleration round, activate it as... activate it as the alternative skill instead. Interesting. We'll look at that later, but at X plus poise, final power, dual status, and Eye of Recognition, -3. Deal more damage for every X stack lost. It's probably every stack lost, let's be real here. Spend an acceleration round for Burn and Tremor. Spend an acceleration round for Tremor and Tremor counts. And trigger a Tremor burst. Yeah, that's pretty okay. Then as for the skill free, Session Natura di Elefante. On use, poise for final power, coin power, dual status, and lose Eye of Recognition stacks on self. Up to, so before doing this, okay. Or before attack. It's a bit funky to specify it at that timing, but sure. Support passive, we'll look at it in a sec. At X plus poise, let's see, spend acceleration round, burn tremor, acceleration round, burn count tremor, acceleration round, trigger amplitude conversion into tremor scorch, and on the 4th one, trigger a tremor burst. Activate it 1 more time for every acceleration round spent by this skill, so 1, 2, 3. So we can get up to 3 bursts on this one. Kind of okay. For the support passive that I missed, it's the fastest speed ally when they trigger a tremor burst, gain offense level. If it is a thumb identity, gain haste. It's kind of okay. Looks like you want to be overheated as fast as possible. Yes. You want to cycle through overheats and precognition as quickly as possible. As for the other stuff, let's see. Where is she triggering Coniglio from? Yeah, where is she triggering that from? Hang on. Let's see. Sesionatore di Coniglio. Where do we trigger that? Yeah, where do we trigger that from? The evade. Okay. Oh, okay, I see. It's not colored in yellow paint, so don't worry about it. Hang on. So we'll get to that last then, I suppose. For servo, so if she doesn't have any acceleration rounds, we trigger something different. If this unit is in an overheated state, gain final power and convert it all into unbreakables, so we do want to burn through stuff real quick through her resources. Gain poise count. Gain coin power for every X burn on target and tremor, so dual status. We lose Eye of Precognition on self once again, and deal more damage for each stack lost, so that's -3. We gain poise. Specifically on this skill 2-2, we gain poise. Inflict burn, tremor, and tremor counts. Amplitude conversion into scorch, so we have a free source of scorch as well, as long as we do not have acceleration rounds left. Oh, okay. Then tremor bursts, reduce tremors, target's tremor counts. If this target has more tremor than blah blah blah, trigger a tremor burst and reduce it again. Okay. So we can get a double tremor burst on this one. Oh, it's a bit annoying to get to though, since we would need to burn through her ammunition twice. If not, burn through her ammunition without getting to Shin, which is also really funky. It'll depend on how the math goes through if we can burn 30 stacks of Eye of Precognition, the assumed 30 stacks, before we then go below, basically. So, we will see how it goes. Yeah. Because she may be able to burn through her Eye acceleration rounds faster than her Eye of Precognition stacks. In which case, then we would be seeing this pop up faster. But the moment she switches for the first time, she reloads. So, it's just weird, kinda. Anyhow, for disposal, if the target has under a certain amount of current HP, deal more damage. When attacking the game targets, gain more coin power. Oh, that's filthy. And if we have acceleration round, we gain coin power. We gain final power for dual status, and upon killing it, we add a disposal to the list of skills for the upcoming turn. So if we kill with disposal, we can loop in another disposal. Okay, so it's quite literally Nikolai's disposal. That's a bit filthy. Anyway, on kill we also reload. So, we actively don't want to reload in some cases. But disposal will force us to reload if we kill a target. Yeah, that's the thing. She has multiple spots that just say reload. So it's a little funky, because it depends on just how much better. It depends on just how much better the skill 2-2 is, which will change entirely how we will try to play this ID. Because if the idea is, oh, we just want to spam disposals, we're not going to care that we're reloading, because we're slotting disposal every turn instead. So it's just, The problem is, yeah, we do need those bullets for disposal, so, mildly annoying is all I can say. Weird how our Eye of Precognition tech is completely different from Valencina. Perhaps, yes. You got free ads trying to watch this video. I do not necessarily control how frequently one gets ads or how much one gets. If you just happen to be an area that is like advertising aggressive, you are going to hit ads, is the thing. Like, I think Korea and certain parts of the US are like really heavy on ads. And you'll just be flooded with them. It also depends on your age and demographic. If you are around the average age of my audience, in that, like, what, 25 to 34 bracket, you're going to get a stupid number of gambling ads, most likely, or alcohol. Anyhow. Aside from that, the coins do burn tremor, burn count and tremor counts, tremor scorch, spend up to a number of acceleration rounds, and we deal more damage for every acceleration round that will be spent by this coin's effect. We then tremor burst and activate once more for every acceleration round spent. Wait, that can kind of be filthy. That can kind of be like really, really filthy. Also, yeah, who the fuck is saying that she's Pierce? Wait, oh, that Valentina herself is Pierce. Hang on. Let's see, if it's Valentina herself. Let's see, Valentina herself, she has a couple of skills that are Pierce. Not all of the skills are Pierce. It's a mix between slash Pierce, specifically. But no, the ID we've gotten here, it's all slash. Every last skill is slash. Aside from that, clashable counter, fuck off. This one is gain final power for burn on target and tremor on targets. We lose Eye of Recognition, so we can just drop it as well from here. If this is like free Eye of Recognition loss, then that's better than using Colpy up here, basically. If it is only a single Eye of Recognition loss, it's kinda eh. Maybe if you wanted to stay in Eye of Recognition longer, I guess. Because there are benefits to doing so. Otherwise, turn end, if this unit has acceleration rounds, reload up to a certain amount. So if it has less than a certain amount, reload. So we can force a reload. Yeah, it really all depends on how badly we want the skill 2-2. Notably, if we're in Precognition, we want to be... If we're in Precognition, we want bullets. If we don't have bullets, we want to be in Overheat. Okay. Aside from that, from Precognition itself, we don't get to activate this by ourselves. We only get this while we have Eye of Precognition. We are looking to... Okay, upon successfully evading all coins on a skill, use the skill 1-2 as an unopposed attack. Gain coin power for every X Eye of Precognition stacks on self. Gain base power for every excess amount. Past Y stacks. We gain poise counts. We gain poise. We heal SP. And on skill end, we lose more Eye of Precognition stacks. Okay. This part here, Precognition, is probably going to be the part that helps us the most for getting rid of Eye of Precognition. In the sense, Precognition here works like how counters do in Ruiner, basically, which is pretty disgusting. She gets to have the Ruiner counter. And that's filthy. Anyhow, for the skill 1-2, the very last thing we need to cover, skill does not trigger defense skills, and external effects cannot trigger this skill to be reused. At X plus poise, gain final power, gain base power for every X, burn on targets, plus tremor on targets, so... Yeah, we still need to care about status. It's two very stable statuses though, so this is just going to be easy. Inflict burn counts, inflict tremor counts. And then trigger a tremor burst, then reduce the target's tremor count. Red coin dodge specialist, yes. Very good, because we want her to clash into skills with a lot of red coins lined up. And then as each of those clashes is won, or she manages to lose some clashes and win some clashes, blah, 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 she'll get accelerating to the future, or accelerating future, which she'll then use to hit back harder. And then from there, just lose more stacks of Eye of Recognition and swap between. The only thing is, there's no way to speed up the overheat state. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have a single way of speeding up overheat. So she is very bursty, and then no longer has Precognition, so we lose some of the nicer effects. We don't lose all the nice effects, mind you. We just lose some of the nicer effects. We lose her counter capabilities, basically. So we lose Precognition itself, and we lose all of the nice extras with accelerating future. We trade damage. We trade damage, clash power, and coin power for offense level. And that's kind of it. Triple status IDs would destroy MD? Yes, they would. They already do currently. She gets eyes if she clashes? Hang on, hang on. Gain, blah, 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 at blah, 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 stack. At end of... Wait, where are you reading for eyes gaining? Yeah, she loses eyes on Clash. Like, that's what I'm reading. Tophone. Tophone, yeah. She loses eyes. She doesn't gain them. She loses them. Yeah. Yeah, like everything here. I don't know, there was one chatter, Tophone, which said she gets eyes if she clashes. No, she loses eyes if she clashes. All of this is loss of eyes, Eye of Recognition. All of it is loss of Eye of Recognition. Not a single one here says that she manages to gain overheat. Or speed up her overheat gain. We just lose. There's no gain. Yes, she will gain the eyes back after a few turns. However, we don't have a way of speeding that up, is what I'm saying. No skill here, or nothing here in her kit, says that we can gain it back at a pace faster than what is dictated by the game. So, it'll overheat, shut off, and then we have to wait. Yep. Which means we lose access to accelerating future, and we lose access to everything related to precognition. Thankfully, most of her conditionals do not care about her being in precognition. However, it is unfortunate because accelerating future itself does have conditionals on them, or on it. So she becomes very, very bursty for a tiny bit, but then potentially just loses all of that burst. Which is then like the most unfortunate part of all of this, basically. It's funny that in order to get 5 tremor bursts, you must use a corroded ego and Kolzan for Ishmael, or Rodya gets to after an evade and S3. To an extent, yeah. You're a bit concerned with how much poise she gains. She'll likely be self-sufficient enough. However, that's if you play her kit as expected. So as long as you manage to get precognition. The problem is, after precognition, you don't really get poise outside of the skill 2-2. And the problem is, precognition isn't tied to, or skill 2-2 isn't tied to precognition, it's tied to her ammunition. So you need to burn all her ammunition first, to then have enough poise to then be able to make use of said poise during precognition. Or during overheat, basically. It's like an awkward swap between two, because it's during overheat that you can generate poise, but it is during precognition that you generate poise by doing nothing, but dodging, so You kind of need to swap between the two. Doesn't she also get poise from using the ammo? Where the bloody hell are some of you guys reading this stuff? Unique ammo, spent when using certain skills. That's all it says on the bullets. For most of these, it's a tremor burst is what you're getting out of those bullets. Let's see. Because past there, the only other mention is acceleration rounds. Gain coin power, deal more damage. Check shame of the Bognatelli family. Okay, there we go. Poise count. Okay, long ass fucking ID. Please forgive me if I forget something. But yes. Eco is turning blind? No, shit's just long, man. And if you have to search every last bit for poise, then you're going to be screaming to an extent. Anyhow, we want to be burning bullets. We burn bullets for poise. We get poise. We use skill 2-2 to stabilize that poise. Otherwise, our only other source of poise count is the precognition and the bullets. But likely that's only going to be one at a time. There's no way they're giving us 2 poise count per bullet. Which means if she gains too much poise, she will then melt through it. So... yeah, just cheese. It is going to be 1. It's going to be 1 and 1. If they give us more than that, then I am going to flip a table or 2. There's no way a Nursefather is she-force situation. That's the thing, Tofon. Like, if you try to use, say, Nursefather Honglu. So if you try to use Hongers, for example, in a team that has nothing that helps him with the ring at all, he's a bit more of a wet towel than you expect. So it would not be surprising is... what wouldn't be surprising is if a unit without any support ends up being a little shy. It's just a bit strange then that having this much poise generation, why they wouldn't just give her that poise tag at that point. That part just feels like a bit of a slap in the face because the only time that's really going to matter is in the MD. But, is what it is. Ring Honglu, yeah, it's a lot longer though. Like, if it's him alone, that's taking forever, mate. Lu Honglu passive still gaining value? Yes, Lu Honglu is still gaining passive. Value. Can't get future stacks in overheat. Yes, I have mentioned she cannot get her accelerating... let's see, her accelerating future. So you do lose out on coin power, you lose out on clash power, you lose out on damage with base skills. Let's see. But yeah, every time then we need to recontextualize then. Every time that it says spending an acceleration round, if you have an acceleration round, that helps it go further neutral, basically, in poise. However, if we count it all up, it doesn't look like it's anywhere near enough. It'll all depend on how much we can get out of precognition. If precognition gives us a stupid amount, then no problem. We're golden, basically. However, I don't see that as very likely. Disposal is also pretty awkward because you're not gaining the poise during its use. You are gaining the poise after its use. Right at the end. And then if we look at the skill S-2-2, it is poise count on use, but it'll likely only be enough poise count to cover the coins themselves, so it may be up to like 3 poise count. So we may end up with quite the mess, basically. Okay. Guessing evade is just going to be Index Yisang's evade in terms of poise. The problem is we can't trigger it. Like, we can't trigger it reliably unless she is the one targeted. Unless she's the one targeted or unless she's doing it to unbreakable coins, we cannot trigger precognition, the evade, as reliably. Because guess what? She doesn't have any fucking aggro. Like, if there's one thing that is distinctly lacking here, there's no fucking aggro. In a fight where there are unbreakables, and in a fight where she can lose a clash and maybe lose more, or lose a clash or get targeted more often for whatever reason, recognition can activate. However, there's no aggro. So that kind of makes this really awkward. Now, the thing that does help out is when she doesn't have recognition, Lucio is jumping in. Lucio is at least jumping in with a clashable. So it's not like she becomes completely defenseless without recognition. She still has plenty of defense as well with recognition thanks to Lucio. And because it's a clashable guard as well, that's assist defense and is pretty much gonna always be on. As long as she's in her recovery state, then yeah. I really don't get why she doesn't have any aggro whatsoever. She'd be like really strong with aggro, but there's just none. Yeah, she's going to be a lot weaker in fights with no unbreakables. In fights where she can rise up to the occasion and fights where there are unbreakables, yes, she's going to be really strong, but even then, not every single boss has a reliable count of unbreakables that you can mess with. Because yeah, ideally you want to be unopposed attack, an unbreakable, or losing a clash against a skill. You don't want to lose a clash. So ideally you either do the unopposed, which means it works like Ruina's counters, where you want her to be targeted by something she's not fighting back against, or you are doing it against an unbreakable attack, which guarantees her those stacks because, well, guarantees recognition pretty much working guaranteed. So does she lose accelerated future stacks for using moves, or is that buff permanent? Accelerating futures for the one hit. That's it. Accelerating future. Skill end, this effect expires. So you clash, you clash, you clash, you clash. You get accelerating future stacks starting to build up, and then after a certain number of stacks, you have coin power off that thing. You slam back harder thanks to all that coin power. Goodbye, accelerating future. So it's kind of unfortunate. It's not that she seems very awkward, it just seems that she needs to... She has a lot more conditionals than you would expect, basically. If you want to get the full power out of, say, disposal, you need to hit the game targets. You need, say, 5 acceleration rounds, however many they let you load at a given time. Let's see, it's a revolver, so maybe it's 6 acceleration rounds, let's say for argument. If it is, say, 6 acceleration rounds loaded and you want for the ungodly amounts, if it actually is that many and you end up with God knows how many tremor bursts on the end of disposal, yes, you want all of those. You then need to build up poise, and poise sources within her own kits are in precognition, they are in the skill, they are in, let's see, in precognition, they're in anything that uses acceleration rounds. And that's kind of the awkward thing, because you want the acceleration rounds left over to use with disposal as well. It's just a lot of things are asking for your attention, and asking for attention from different parts of her kit that we are then now screaming. Maybe it's just really awkward on paper, but works well in-game. The thing is, with enough numbers, it would work, like, entirely smooth. If for some reason acceleration rounds are 2 poise per. If they are literally 2 poise per use, 2 poise count, 2 poise, or 2 poise count, 2 poise potency every time you use an acceleration round, she would be like ungodly broken, basically. Valentina has a max of 10 bullets and her disposal does 5 tremor bursts. Okay, in that case, she is using 2 revolvers at that point. Either 2 revolvers or a bloody Lamat. Take your pick. But yes, if we're getting that ungodly 5 tremor bursts on a fucking disposal with 10 bullets, if the poise generation is that fucking good, then disposal is disgusting. It becomes one of the single most disgusting skills in the game, basically. However, if that is not the case, then unfortunate. Fum Sinclair working overtime with this? Yes. Fum Sinclair providing bullets is now not that much of a problem. Be +2 bursts. If it's only 3 bursts, then we're just getting Capo Merceau, basically. What you're wondering is, if she gains overheat and S3-2, you use it and target doesn't die, or you use it not on the game targets, do you just never gain it again? Let's see. No, you gain it back. You can gain it back. So it's not like Nikolai's disposal, where Nikolai's disposal disappears if it fucks off. Disposal can come back. Because Eye of Precognition can go to Eye of Precognition overheat, and once it comes back, you can then run down Eye of Precognition again, and then that's how you get your disposal back. Unless, and this is going to be the specific unless they pull the most unfortunate thing and say you can only get disposal once. Give this clause here. At the start of the next turn, if this unit has no disposal on its dashboard, replace a base skill with disposal. If after that, when the full thing releases, it says once per encounter, then we're never getting disposal back if you fuck up. After we read it back, like as we're currently reading it, she should be able to get her disposal back an infinite number of times as long as she can swap between her 2 stances. That's what we're hoping for. If not, then it works exactly like Nikolai's version of disposal, where you get to use it once unless you manage to kill with disposal. So let me try pull up Tiff. Let's see, whereabouts am I looking? Cards. The original version of disposal, single use, available at 20+ charge. You add a copy of disposal to your deck or to your hand and lower its cost by 1 only if you manage to kill somebody. If the target is at less than 50% HP, you deal 2 times the damage. That's what Nikolai's disposal is. Now the thing is, if we have to handle this clause here, single use, and the only way of getting more disposals and chaining disposals is by killing, then yes, it's exactly like the original disposal. Otherwise, it's probably fucked. Can the real Valentina use disposal more than once? That we can probably check, yeah. Let's see, blah blah blah. I believe she would be able to, huh? Because she does seemingly spam it out, from what I remember. Because there's that hunt passive, right? Yeah, there's on the hunt. Activates every 4 turns after the initial activation. If this unit kills the target with the skill disposal, activate it again. Okay. So she chains it, rather. So as long as she manages to kill whoever has it, then she will chain it and use it again and again and again. That's the specifics on Valentina's disposal. So by the seam of it, at the very least from what we see, we can probably keep using it. There's still the very likely odds that we will still be able to cycle it. If we just have the nerfed version where it then goes like, oh no, you can't do that, you only get it once, then well, yeah, you only get it once, and well, that feels shit. It would make sense simply because every time it's going to take like 3 turns. Jolly Shoe, goodbye, yep, goodbye. It would make the most sense to let us just reuse and reuse and reuse, basically. However, considering that it stipulates every 4 turns, even for Valentina, then yeah, we can probably expect it to take quite a while, either way. The overheat turns may take up to 3 turns before we get to use our disposals again. Because if we think of it, if it's 10 stacks of Precognition that we recover every turn. Yep. If we get 10 of it back, because the current Eye of Precognition on Valencina says we deal less damage, or she deals less damage, all coins that spend acceleration rounds into unbreakable coins, and she gains 10 stack of it back, and at 30, it'll reconvert back into Eye of Precognition. Considering that it's gained at turn start, that means the turn after, when you go into it, so when you hit 0 and it goes over, next turn you'll gain 10, so that's 1 turn downtime. Second turn downtime is another 10 up to 20. Another turn downtime is up to 30, and then it immediately converts on that turn back into Precognition, because we gained it at turn start, and the only stipulation is at 30, it converts back. So on that third turn of downtime, we'll realistically already have Eye of Precognition back. At least that's how I'm currently reading it. And at that point, we then have to run down that 30 again. That third turn, if she has to do anything with Precognition on that turn, she should be able to run it back down, or start running it back down already. Which means logically we have 2 turns of downtime for Precognition. Which means drop down, or increase overheat. Third turn, overheat straight into Precognition. Then we can start losing Precognition again. It's just all depending on how much Precognition we can lose in a turn. And that's going to inform quite a bit of the play pattern when we eventually get around to that. Because we know she loses it specifically with every time she clashes. So every time she deletes a coin or loses a coin in a clash, she will be losing Precognition. Now, the funnier thing is if she manages to tie a clash, and if she keeps tying a clash, can she keep losing Eyes of Precognition with that? Because so far, the other thing we haven't seen a hard cap to how much she can lose at a given time. We haven't been told that she can only lose so much in a turn. Therefore, there are decent odds where she can lose... There are decent odds she can lose all of her Precognition in one fucking go. Which would be really funny, because imagine, 30 clashes later, then it just triggers through. It's like, oh, shit. Okay. Instantly back into overheat. Oh, what's that? We have disposal back again. Shit. There is that very real possibility. It would be very funny, though. Though I severely doubt that will be the particular case. She can reload indefinitely. As far as the numbers go, we should be able to figure that she can. Is it worth it to hold disposal until Precognition? Could be. Could very well be, considering you could do it with Accelerating Future. And if you can do it with Accelerating Future, damn. Okay. She loses the max stack on evading with precog, so you doubt it's her losing her whole thing on one evade. I'm not saying that she'd lose it on one evade. It's just the first clause here, for loss of Precognition. Lose X Eye of Precognition stack with every clash. So every time you clash into something. Unless that's at the end of every clash, then that's different, and you only lose a specific amount. If it's every clash as written with how it seems to say it with everything here, for a number of times clashed, etc., or when clashing, blah blah blah. If it's every clash, then it's going to be really fucking funny, because you can have that funny endless 30 clash loop. Accelerating Future doesn't let her go infinite in clashes, you guess. Yes, that is the very real possibility. After all, there is clash power for every X stack, so after a certain bit, she just clashes better and she'll probably win. Capped per turn says on the eye status itself. Can lose up to X per turn. Okay, in that case, fuck everything I said for the past 5 to 10 minutes. And thanks, Elusive Mike, for saying so. But yes, who knows how many we can lose in that turn. If it's 10, then free down, free back up, and disposal on your turn, or when you want to use it, on the 5th turn. Otherwise, free down, and we fuck off at that point. I'm going to guess it's 10 or 15. Literacy in your community? No, not necessarily. This is just getting fucking tired, mate. In which case, since my own literacy is going down, let me see if I can find someone whose literacy hasn't. So give me a moment here. Because yes, inevitably, retreading ground and thinking of random possibilities that could work is going to end up getting you tired. Let me find someone who isn't tired yet. Let's see, who's looking alive right now? Is everyone dead? Do we not have anyone alive right now? I guess we don't have anyone alive right now. Normally there'd be like Frey or Kamui or someone at least. Huh, I guess Frey's dead today. There's no way Kamui's also dead today, right? Oi, 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 oi. Oh, why is everyone dead today? Ah, okay, fine. We will do things the proper way. Kamui's not up yet, buddy. It is 8:30 Aussie time. Kamui should be up. Bertie precog. We need to run this down. We need to run to 0. To overheats. Gain Shin. Gain disposal. So very simple, right? 30 precog. At 0, turns to overheat, gain Shin, gain disposal. During such, we want to use disposal with at least X bullets and X poise for maximum damage. And simply put, bloody hell, if this would like to work, thank you. On, kill, repeat. Very simple. Running down precog. Let's see, we know that Valentina's precog. Let's see, turn start gains 10 stacks, but how many can she lose in a turn is the question. Getting attacked by blah 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 activates the precognition skill, can gain up to at start, gain accelerating future. Following causes her to lose stacks, on clash lose 3 stacks. It doesn't say that. He doesn't have a limit personally. Great, thanks. Don't think you'll be able to understand this one, Chief. Unfortunate. Not a flowchart? Yes, a flowchart, unfortunately for you guys. Look, if I am running my mouth and making mistakes, it is better I get things down on paper. That is why. And hey, Tori Stella, thanks to that one time for the audio mixing advice, and also the one comment on sword autism later. Good stuff, good stuff. Anyhow. 30 precog, running it down. We run it down either through number, let's say, number of coins after clash. So we can run it down after number of coins after clash. We can run it down on precognition itself. Yep, precognition itself loses it as well. Number of coins after clash. Yeah, I know. It's fantastic that it's called that. Recognition. Number of coins after clash, precognition. We also lose it on clash. So we do want her to clash to hell and back. Up to X per turn. Assumed 10. 10 would be the most round number they could do. It also means that if we want to make full use of her stuff, we would need to trigger multiple effects at once. We would not be able to do it just on using skills. We would need to do it through other stuff. Let's see. Didn't expect to take another math class today. I'll see what I can figure out from this at least. Because let's see. Upon activating it, we lose. Upon activating Precognition, we lose it. And blah, blah, blah. Due to losing a clash, we're likely losing more of it. Okay. And then the skill on the clapback is unclashable, doesn't cause us to lose any. Therefore, we want to find a way. Saw that EOSD got a remake and they just upscaled the sprites. I'm pretty sure it's not Zun's own work is the thing. Therefore, you're in for hell, basically. Trust me, follow the prescript is so much easier, and we made a flowchart on that cunt. But yes, assuming that it's 10 lost per turn, amount lost becomes variable based on coin count of the enemy and unbreakables. Goal is to lose at least 10 per turn. Okay. So the thing is, if we manage to trigger Precognition at all and at least clash with one other skill, I reckon it's going to guarantee give us 10 Precognition stacks lost, basically. Guaranteed. It'll give us at least 10. Now, if it's 15 of them, then that's going to be honestly a lot better, I'll be honest. It means that it'll be able to scale upwards a lot faster. However, assuming that we can only lose 10, up to maybe 15, then we will need to fulfill all of her stuff for 3 turns. Skill 1 vanilla loses 2. Skill 2 vanilla loses, let's see. Skill 1 only loses us 2. Skill 2 loses us 3. Yep, on both of them. And skill 3 loses us X amount before the attack. Let's say 4. 4 makes sense. It might be more. 3, skill 3 loses 4. So, assumptions, because we don't have the numbers right now, if we want to make this thing somewhat work, basically. Means 30 precog. Running down the precog requires us to get... I see, my tea got replaced with milk tea. But yes. 30 precog, we need to run it down. Number of coins after precog, or number of coins after a clash. If we use Precognition, then on clash, assume that we need about 10. Most enemies have around 1 to 3 coin attacks. 4 and 5ers. 5 are more rare. Unbreakables help a lot in this case in activating precog. If Aryashu kills Heathcliff, does that mean she gets 2 tremor per turn, 1 from S2-2, 1 from any other skill? Hang on. S2-2, let's see. Tremor counts. Let's see, tremor counts. Tremor burst. And then second tremor burst. Eh? Wait, what do you mean by... Let's see, if Aryashu kills Heathcliff, does she get 2 tremor per turn? 1 from a skill 2-2 and 1 from any other skill. Oh, okay, just from the Psyche. Okay. Clash Win, using a base skill, inflicts tremor and trigger tremor burst. It's Clash Win, Chief. You aren't using Aryashu's 2-2 to clash. Therefore, you aren't going to trigger it twice. You only trigger it once. So, worst case, vanilla coins. Win, gain skill amounts. Best case, unbreakable coins. Win, dodge, unbreakables. So these are our two particular cases. On the extreme end, we clash into a skill that has a lot of unbreakable coins. We win, dodge all the unbreakables after that. Profit, ridiculous amount. We get max precog stacks. Worst case, we win against vanilla coins, and we only gain the amount that's stated on the skill itself, basically. And that's when it's kind of just rip. Other case, if targeted by at least one skill, she can't, otherwise she doesn't clash. And win a clash. In the same vein, we would want to imagine that precognition can trigger multiple times. Problem is, she doesn't have fucking aggro. This is our main problem. The fact that, as an ID, she does not have aggro is our main problem right now. Now, this is just one side of the engine. Regardless, when we hit 0 precognition, we swap to overheat. Overheat lasts 2 turns in overheat, and on the 3rd turn should convert back. So this is where things get a little bit weird by the wording of things. So at the end of the turn, this unit's eye precognition is converted to eye precognition overheat. We reload, we gain disposal. Very specifically. We convert it to overheat. Once we hit 0, we have no way of increasing overheat on that turn. Overheat only increases at the start of turn. Therefore, if we have 0 precognition, we get nothing, basically. Maybe she's fast enough to always be clashing. That's what you'd hope out of the Shin, basically. So Shin Disgrace should help out. That's what should help out, at least. Otherwise, yeah, most of it is screaming. Because overheat will last 2 turns, and on the third turn starts, should immediately jump back to 30, and then jump back over to being normal precognition. Convert back. Okay, on the other side of things, we're going to need a completely different square for this. Because it's a different engine. Bullets. If each Excel round is 2 poise count and 2 poise potency, this ID is broken. If it is 1 poise count and 1 poise potency, this ID could use some help. This makes a few sources of poise. So notably, we are going to be looking at poise from bullets, which turns into poise from skills. This means that, let's say, skill 1 provides us nothing, 1-2 provides us nothing, 2 and 2-2 provide us poise. So, skill 2 is 2 rounds. Skill 2-2 is X amount. Most likely enough to go neutral or just negative. And then from there, we then want to look down further. We aren't gaining poise from anything else but precognition. So precognition, poise, then poise. Poise counts on use, poise gain on evasion. Since this thing will always evade, pretty much always evade, then we can mess around with there. Slap on BOE sung and fix poise count issues? Potentially, yes. Potentially, yes. Recognition will always give counts, but not always. Will always give counts and should give a good amount of potency. And aside from that, the other stuff that uses acceleration rounds, there's 3 of them on skill 3, and let's say up to 5 on disposal. 3 rounds worth on skill 3, and 5 on disposal. So this should start painting us a rather decent picture of what we're looking at, right? Wouldn't put BL Yisung since Index Yisung's too good. If it's House of Spiders, yeah. Otherwise, if it's fuck around and find out with Tremor, you kind of want Wei instead is the problem. The poise becomes like real secondary in most compositions. New Jane Solo has arrived. I wouldn't say yet. We don't know how much she loses. We don't know how much Eye of Precognition she can lose in 1 turn. If it's only 10 per turn, that means she gets to be Jane Solo for 3 turns. And then has 2 turns of downtime. However, after 3 turns, you've already gained 3 extra skill slots, so, you know, it's still pretty fucking good. We also don't know how many times she can actually trigger Precognition yet, within a single turn. The thing is, 4 Sinners isn't really enough for a thumb team, yes, you're right. However, you can take 4 Sinners, Wei, Faust, and 1 other with Lord Lu, and now you can just swap Wei and Faust in and out with Lord Lu's counter. Now you have a stupid fast rabbit as well, to then be able to trigger Everlasting. You see the stupidity on offer. You can use not exactly the chicken engine, but it's the fucking Heisho engine again. Every team has Lord Lu. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. This is like too good a case to use it, to the point where even I'm starting to consider using it. And I don't really want to use it most of the time. Yeah, and support from the rest of the Sinners. So you have 4 fellas being support, 8 fellas doing bullshit. The only thing is you can't do that in Reflect Trial because they make you deploy everyone. Because they make you deploy everyone in Reflect Trial, they will get to a point where you've rotated all the Heisho out and you can't rotate them back in. And that's the awkward part, because you specifically need Faust to stay. Dang, why is no one live right now? Yeah, I know, right? I was expecting at least Kamui or, like, pray to be live, but they're not. So that's the part that's screaming to me. Let's see, did everyone die over Supernova Weekend? Could be. Wait, oh right, it would have been Supernova, huh? And, like, the thing is, I'm running a panel at Smash this year. It's the stupid Project Moon 101 panel. So I do need to prepare a decent amount for that, because I somehow need to cram 3 games worth of lore into 25 minutes. But with Supernova, or with in-person events, like, I asked Kamui if he wanted to help out. Man said no. Doesn't do that kind of thing. So, doubt Supernova is the thing that's causing the guy to be dead right now. Maybe he's just gonna stream late. Let's see. Aside from that, let's see. Poise from bullets, which turns... Okay. So this is where we can then start piecing together some numbers and potentially getting some answers, basically. Skill 1 is purely negative. Using skill 1 means you lose out on free poise, basically. So here's where we can start, like, mapping out what her poise will look like. Skill 1 is -3. We lose 2 coins and 1 decay. Skill 2 is minus. Let's see. If we go under worst assumption that each of these acceleration rounds is only +1/+1, then skill 2 is still -2. Skill 2 is -2. We blow 2 bullets, but lose on the last coin and 1 decay. Skill 2-2 is likely -1. Poise count gain is likely 3, 2 or 3. It is 3 coins. If we crit all of them, we -1 or -2 depending. Because we don't have any extras. Oh hey Isang again. It's the same Isang. Hello manager. What's up? What is up with her eye to overheat conversion in her passive? Is it all... Is just all of the eye? Not sure what you mean by that exactly, but it's the... You drop down to... You go from 30, most likely, if the numbers are still going to be based on Valentina. It's 30 down to 0. When you get to 0, it changes to overheats. From overheats, you gain 10 at turn start per turn, so it then stacks up 10, 10, and 10 again. Once you hit 30, it immediately converts back over to Precognition. How does skill 2-2 activate when we have no bullets left? Very specifically, when we have no bullets left, activate the other one. Which is a bit awkward because we're considering that we have probably closer to 10 bullets. 10 bullets isn't easy to use, at least with this ID, because it's 4 from skill 2s. 4 from skill 2s. There's a single skill 3, which is another 3 bullets. That's 7 bullets. And if disposal uses 5 bullets, then it'll blow through all those bullets, or blow through the rest of those bullets. Or 10 bullets used. The problem is disposal also reloads on kill. So skill 2-2 just kind of doesn't come out. At the end of the turn, this unit's Eye of Precognition is converted into Eye of Precognition Overheat. Okay, so it converts to Eye of Precognition Overheat the moment it hits 0, basically. So there are various effects that lower Eye of Recognition. So if you dodge some clash win conditions, if you, let's say, if you get, not necessarily hit, but if you activate Recognition, then dodge more stuff on top of that, basically. It'll just start chunking down Eye of Recognition. The moment it hits 0, you no longer have Eye of Recognition. You have Eye of Recognition overheats. And that's when you lose all of the bonuses from Recognition. You no longer get Accelerating Future. You cannot trigger Recognition either. And those are like 2 very big conditionals. Don't see why you wouldn't use the defense skill over skill 2-2. That's the thing. The normal defense skill, just fuck off, isn't particularly strong. It also just forces you to reload. This one gains a final power bonus and is unbreakable, specifically if you're in overheat state. So to make this skill 2-2 worth using, you need to be in overheat, and you need to be out of bullets. Now, if you're still somehow not in overheat, it'll also lose you more Eye of Recognition, basically. And it'll deal, and it's a damage conditional as well, in doing so. The other thing with it is that 2-2 is an amplitude conversion. Let's see, why wouldn't you use defense skill over the 2-2? Or does it reload automatically after the skill is used? You do not reload after using 2-2. So you could just keep having 2-2 to keep inflicting Tremor Scorch if you really wanted to. At least for the amount of turns where you don't have bullets. So if you do not forcibly reload by using Disposal or the defense skill, you get a force of amplitude conversion into Tremor Scorch. Have I looked at Heath yet? Heath is just not that interesting, necessarily. The dual escalates is a cool mechanic and all, but... and Severed Tendon, etc., all this stuff is pretty alright. It's just... we had an ID like it like 2 weeks ago. Does Lucio Cliff look better than your Heathcliff at least? The sooner you get Heysha off the burn team, the better. The problem is the burn team engine, so the 2 chicken engines in the burn team are just too strong for pure burn. They are needlessly good at it. This guy, if it's a single target, yes. If it's a multi-target, the chickens win, hands down. That's kind of the problem we're at. Yes, skill 2-2 also gives poise. Let's see, skill 3 is likely -1. 3 bullets. 3 bullets. 3 bullets. Nope, it's 1, 2, 3. It's, yeah, it's 3 bullets. Okay, no, it's -2. Okay. 3 bullets, assuming +1. 4 coins. -1 to decay. So the numbers look pretty god-awful for poise, is what I am going to say. First turn, use Fell Bullet Ego to trigger Rodya's dodge counter. ALML. It's crazy that she is counted just as Tremor Burn. I mean, if you look at the numbers that I'm currently providing here, the possibilities of the numbers at least, then yeah, it's a bit funky, it's a bit unfortunate. Let's see. It's 4 poise for every acceleration round spent. If we 1-to-1 with Valentina and it's 4 poise for every acceleration round spent, and there's no count attached, then that's going to be disastrous in comparison. That's another real possibility, basically. Let's see, skill 1, skill 2, skill 2-2, skill 3. Skill 3-2 is -5. If we blow 5 bullets at the end, It is -5 during skill, +5 from the bullets, and finally -1 from decay. So we blow, let's see, we hit, and hit blow 5 bullets, taking us down 5 poise count first, and potentially flipping us back up 5, and then we lose 1 from decay, so it is -1 in the end. But -5 during use. Like, this is all going under the assumption that they are being nice to us, and that we actually get poise count out of using these bullets. And like, it says we get poise count out of using these bullets. Gain poise and poise count for every X acceleration round spent. If it's every 1 acceleration round spent, which is what we're currently assuming, then they're being nice. They're being very nice to us, if anything. If it is not the case, we are about to get hard fucked. See. For the time being, I'm going to assume that Precognition gives us +4. Turning into a +3 with decay. So this is going to be the assumption. If Precognition gives +4 counts, stupid strong. Pretty damn usable, as long as we can get that count. Her poise count will actually be quite stable. Now, if it's any less than +4, we may start running into trouble. Because none of these skills would necessarily go positive. Now, knowing Project Moon recently, so knowing kit design recently, we should do the other half of the math. And the other half of the map is a lot more screaming than you may think. Assuming each bullet is only 1 count. Because Project Moon has recently been making all of their kits so easy to play that you really don't need to think about this math that I'm currently doing. But let's say, assuming each bullet is 2 counts. Skill 1 remains unchanged. Skill 2, however, 2 bullets is +4. +4 is a lot. +4 is enough for us to go neutral, like completely neutral. Because we would be only blowing 2 bullets. And if it's +2/+2 and 3 coins, -1 on decay, it becomes 0. We blow 2 bullets for 4 counts and lose 1 more count to decay, becoming neutral. So skill 2 suddenly looks like ungodly amazing. Skill 2-2, we can't use bullets on to begin with, so it remains unchanged. Skill 3 is stupid because skill 3 is 3 bullets for +6. For +6 for coins, -1 for decay, so +6, -5. Skill 3 is +1. Four coins, -1 from decay. So this is the stupidity. Like, this is if everything crits. Any idea on how she compares to other Nursefathers yet? Potentially much better at soloing than a good chunk of them. Most of them want their teams to get the most effectiveness out of. Otis really wants for the middle, or at least people that can help her unpack really fast if you don't use the double unpack cheese. Yi-Sung is probably the most self-sufficient, not really needing the index quite as much. Hongers desperately wants the ring. Any multiple of like 3 of the ring helps him so much in terms of how quickly he can run down the tableau. As for this Rodya doesn't seem highly dependent on the thumb specifically, just on tremor and burn for some extra conditionals. And depending on all this poise bullshittery that we're currently writing down, yeah. Can we really call House of Spiders a team if Roshu and our unsuspecting victims? If you want to get rid of them as soon as opportune. They're still a team. They're still a team. You don't have to kill all the apprentices. They still have some relevant amount of power. At least, but yes. Okay, skill 3-2 is the next one I need to note. It's plus something, but -5 during use, so it becomes +10. If we blow 5 at the end of skill, it becomes +10 from bullets and -1 from decay. That's -5, -1, so -6, +4. Now, these are the two possibilities for her poise. Genuinely, these are her two possibilities for poise. If each bullet gives 1 count, she is not a poise unit, and does not deserve to be a poise unit. If each one gives 2 counts, she becomes one of the best poise units. Potentially one of the best poise units. It all depends on how well she can maintain her ammunition. This means you are replacing her skill 1 with a counter instead, and preying on precognition. So if for some reason they decide to pick the option on the right, she becomes one of the most disgusting units. If they pick the option on the left, which I hope they do, she's relatively balanced. Not really a poise monster, but can at least do something. Or I could wait 3 days to find out. I mean, I still need to write most of a script anyway. So I need to assume one of these while writing the script. And then once the numbers come out, I adjust my script accordingly. Like, that's just how I do things. I pre-write everything based on what is most likely the design. And then after that, once the numbers actually come out, then I tell people how it actually works. That's how I do things. I don't do the thing that Frey or Kamui do, where they like, oh, the night before the thing releases, with incomplete information, they throw it out. No, I wait for the actual numbers. 2 count makes sense. Why using expensive bullets when you don't get the benefit of it? You'd be right. But let me raise the one other potential ridiculous thing that could happen. Now, you see, the original gains 4 poise for every single bullet that is used. The original gains 4 fucking poise for every single bullet that is used. This is a lot of fucking potency. However, there is no count. There is actually 0 count. 7 Tendon seems interesting. 7 Tendon is just broken. 7 Tendon is attacked down by any other name, basically. The thing is, some things don't have enough base power to keep losing more base power. So the effectiveness of 7 Tendon may be less than we'd expect, basically. Now, assuming that blowing bullets is like 4 poise, things become even more stupid. If each bullet is 4 poise, if each bullet is 4 poise, skill 1 does nothing, skill 2 gives 8 poise, Skill 2 gives 8 poise. Skill 3 gives 12 poise. Skill 3-2 gives... Sweet Jesus, that's like 20 poise out front. 20 poise. I severely doubt they will offer this level of stupidity. I do not think they will do this. If they do this, then she just needs someone to provide poise count. And it's over. She will crit on everything, she will do her tremor bursts on the rest of her skills. Disposal becomes one of the single most disgusting skills in existence. It's all over. Because now the combo becomes Raise Burn, hit with Capote. Well, Raise Burn, hit with Capote on go turn, Everlasting, Crushbound Past, Disposal. Boom. Welcome. Thanks for subscribing. Anyway. More fodder for Pinky Shoe. You'd be right. Now, the most balanced they could probably do this is if they decide to do... If they do 2 and 2. Then everything gets halved, basically. If each bullet is 2 poise... Skill 1, still nothing. Skill 2 is 4 poise. Skill 3 is 6 poise. Skill 3-2 is 10 poise. And honestly, the second one looks healthier. Like, healthier for the game, at least. In the long run. So it is arguable that it'll be this first one here. So this first one on the left, where it's 1 poise count and 2 poise potency. However, if they for some reason, for some ungodly reason, decide that it is 2 counts, 4 poise potency, she is a poise unit and they are just lying to themselves by not giving her the keyword. Let's see, I thought she would have that part in Valentina's kit where she does additional Wrath damage according to burn potency, but maybe that's too broken. I mean, there are units that have that kind of thing, but usually, let's see, there's no damage echo is the thing. The only damage echo, if you really want to count it as a damage echo, would just be tremor bursting, basically. Yeah, that's the thing. Scorched is already really a echo as it is. But yeah, to get the most out of her, you need the poise engine going. At the same time, you need recognition going. So realistically speaking, the long-term plan is to run down Precognition, get yourself Disposal, use every skill besides Disposal, make sure she has at least 5 bullets, then by the time she comes back up to Precognition, you win a clash as hard as possible with Disposal against unbreakable coins. Bam! Does she or Lucio Cliff really synergize with Laceholt or Sinclair? The only thing I can think of is Sinclair giving her ammo. Buddy, she's a Tremor Burn unit, and the other 2 are Tremor Burn. Or the other 3 are Tremor Burn. No shit. Save my progress? Save my progress? You think I'm going to be reconsulting this Fine. Fine, you happy? There, the chart has been saved. Now the chart wanted to fuck off to a different corner for a moment. But yeah, the general combo is going to be quite simple. External team combo. Composition. Malforced, Lord Lu, Wei Sang, and then all the fun. Let's see. Turn before go, make sure boss. Say 2 turns before go, make sure Foss has already, or make sure Blue can swap Foss back in. Turn before go, Foss swaps back in. Let's see, turn before go, Foss swaps back in. Still free from Rodya, not disposal. Also hits with Mersault, Capote. This offers us burn to tremor conversion. Alright, we need one more. Roll the thumb, either a Fire Fist or other Fire Fists or other burn potency Elfie ID. Okay, so 2 turns before go, make sure you can swap Foss back in. Turn before go, Foss swaps back in, skill free. Swaps back in, gets Hair Stride from Hongers, forcing her S free. Skill free from disposal. Or skill free, not disposal. Hit with Capote, offers burn into tremor conversion. Not disposal for Tremor Scorch. To hit with Capote, yep. Turn combo. Okay. Boss should be up front for Everlasting. So this will be very straightforward. Force up front for Everlasting. Let's see. Then with the rest of the team, if we can get if we can squeeze in an Unbrilliant Glory, basically. Force should be up front for Everlasting. Everyone after should be queuing their Tremor Burst skills. In the case of Lucio, we are looking specifically at, let's see here, trigger Amplitude Conversion, trigger Tremor Burst. If it has Maturing Textbook or Dual Escalates, Tremor Burst again. Lucio doesn't have too much. We get 2 Tremor Bursts out of this at most. Asymmetrical Inertia, I don't think will get us too much more, so hang on. Heathcliff's Asymmetrical Inertia only gets us 2 Tremor Bursts and a Sloth Fragile. That's not exactly what we're after, so... Lucio's skill free. It's everyone's skill free, basically. Assault, skill free or crush bound. Sinclair, skill free. Rodya, disposal. Let's see. So that's 4 people taken account of. I don't think Honglu can really provide us all too much. Because in this combo, make Whelp She IDs. But at that point, they have to give us a She team leader if they want to make it effective. Otherwise, it is not going to be particularly effective. Okay, Hongers. You don't really offer us all too much outside of, say, Cavernous Wailing. It's an amplitude conversion, but if you hit an already entangled thing, hang on. Do we just mix Tremor Reverb in at the same time? Converts Tremor or already converted Tremor onto a different one. That's kind of awkward about it though. Because let's see, we could just Cavernous Wailing with Honglu, all things considered. Uses the effects of the Tremor type added by Amplitude Entanglement, and the Tremor type currently on the target together to under superposition. Potency and count values do not change. When triggering conversion on superposition, it activates as entanglement instead. Okay. Okay, anyone who plays Tremor more than I do, in more than one flavor of Tremor, when you hit something with entanglement, how many things can get entangled at once? That's the thing I need to know, basically. Can we entangle both Scorch and Reverb? If we can, that changes things. What the fuck is Foss doing here? It's unfortunately just a bit too effective. There's no capo based on what I know. Reminds you of Frey? Yeah. To an extent. Frey just does more programming looking stuff. You can entangle, Scorch, and Reverb. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I needed to know. In which case, Hongers. Reverb. Cavernous. Brilliant from Gregor. So let's see. Faust up front. Everyone should be queuing Tremor afterwards. So Faust is one member accounted for. Hongers is the second. Musso is the third. Sinclair's the fourth. Rodya's the fifth. Unbrilliant Glory from Gregor makes for the sixth member. Who am I missing? Oh, right. Heathcliff. Heathcliff. S3. Because Reverb should get us a burst as well. And now everything is particularly disgusting. Heck, if we really wanted to, we could overclock. This results in a stupid amount of Tremor bursts under Scorch and Reverb. Entanglement with Everlasting. If you are lazy and instead want to put in magic bullets, that is also a viable option. Just swap out Gregor for MB Otis. There's your pure bullshit, basically. Does Lu Sang still get much value now that we replaced Lu Rodya with another burn unit? Lu Sang's value is mostly from his support, or mostly from his passive in SP healing. While he does do a lot of damage with Blue Rodya around, I wouldn't exactly say it's 100% necessary. Blue Rodya's team bonuses are kinda overstated, so to speak. Let's see, if we wanted to go even harder than this, then turn before go, we would also just swap in another skill. Can also Searing Birdcage with Indicant Trial. So this is assuming that we can build up enough burn that we can then convert into Tremor. So if the burn numbers that we get out of these IDs is particularly good, or if we can just get enough burn from other sources, then bam. Watch as the bullets give her free poise potency and free poise count. That will be particularly disgusting. We have only accounted for 1 count, or 2 counts, and 4 potency. If it is more than that, then she is filthy. We need a time moratorium, Ego? Possibly. Time moratorium, if you really wanted to include time moratorium here, you genuinely do not need that much damage. I don't think there's any content where that much damage is like an absolute necessity. If you need it, you can swap in, I don't know, you can pick Don, or you can pick Don, or you can just take Otis instead. That puts you more Tremor heavy, but then you don't have enough burn to then convert over, is the thing. I feel like just taking the route of ease of use, where it's just get as much burn as possible to then swap in, is like nicer. I'll be real with you. We need a new False Tremor ID? We do. Ada Blossom Star Force of Everlasting. The problem is she's not fast enough. If you can get her consistently fast, and if you can get her to keep being that fast, sure. But this is probably the most consistent you can make things. Faint Aroma for ego resources? Possibly yes. Faint Aroma does also do some work. It is all depending on your 5th member. But this is like, if you particularly want to play into Tremor Scorch. I mean, Drifting Spear. I rest my case. I'm going to show a Tremor Burn MD team. The thing with using Tremor in MD is it's not fun. It's not fun until you get certain gifts, and then even then it's still not as fun as you think it is, basically. Tremor works best as a secondary bonus. Let's see, does Valentina particularly revolutionize the Burn team? Seems like she's a solid solo unit, but Roshu activating Burn does more for the team, especially Hornet Merceau. If you want to take that route instead, doesn't feel like she has enough, basically. She does give an extra burn count over here. But otherwise, her application, while we don't know the numbers, is a bit awkward. She doesn't really have anything that says, let's give you more burn. I guess Shin Disgrace, maybe. If Shin Disgrace and whatever Lucio pulls out of his ass turns out to be that high, then yes, it does revolutionize the burn team. But currently the burn team is the chicken engine. And Lucio may be able to help out with that. Let me double check on move-in reg. Because the move-in reg passive, specifically on hits with skills that apply burn, or on hit with envy skills, inflict additional burn by half the skill's coins rounded upwards. Lucio has decent coin counts. You get 1 extra burn potency on La Spada. You get 2 extra on Colpi, 2 extra on Cacciatore, and 2 extra on Servo. Anyway. Yes. Having to fight the Time Ripper every single time. And Tremor just isn't fun to use on the Time Ripper because he has too many body parts. Spada. Spada. I don't know. My bloody Italian's terrible. Don't rely on me for Italian. I am going to probably keep a counter in the video for how many times I managed to scuff Italian. But yeah. Sorry, every time I hear Spada at this point, I can't help but think of like the really shitty version of DMC's lore told by Lady in the DMC anime. I cannot help but think of that version rather than the nicer version that we actually get in DMC 3. But yeah, the thing is, as always with this particular combo, this combo is very ego resource intensive. You need to be swimming in ego resources to be able to fully make use of this. Didn't want to think about the DMC anime again. That anime doesn't exist. Hey, Lamau. I don't know. If anyone's played the games, most of the games are just about the guys having fun and shooting the shit, basically. It's nothing that serious or ridiculously political that they need to pull up all that bullshit. No, it's fucking Dante, mate. Dante is one of like the least serious possible fellas. Playing Rupture MD is the equivalent of a bedtime story. Also, we do have Burn Team. What keywords would Dante even have? Too many. Way too many. But yeah. This will probably be the gist of it. This will take like 5 turns to set up in any meaningful way. The ego resources are going to be particularly expensive. Especially as we may not even be able to fulfill all of these. And Faust does offer some sloth, right? I'm not imagining that. Faust should be able to offer some sloth. Because Faust Sinclair, yeah, you know, we get plenty of sloth here. It's the other stuff that we're more concerned about. For example, Gloom. Gloom becomes a bit of a bitch. Gloom we can get from Fire Fist. Gloom we can also get from Bird Gregor, if need be. Other sources of Gloom in this particular composition are annoying. Sources of Pride, there's a couple of sources of Pride we can make use of. Plenty of Wrath. It's mostly that we need to fuel Capote. We need to fuel Capote and Everlasting at the minimum. Both of those can be pretty expensive. Dante DMC is secretly a FUM member. The thing is, the one to put a bit closer to a FUM member, at least weaponry-wise, you'd be thinking of, like, Nero instead. With his funny Exceed. That's what you'd be looking closer to. Let's see... Oh, if we can pay for Effervescent Corrosion at some point, that'd be nice as well. Considering Rodya doesn't have to do anything too special to get Effervescent going. Yeah. It's 2 Gloom, 2 Sloth, and 2 Pride. Effervescent is a bit funky to make use of, but if we can, that'd be nice. First use of Man in the Scabbard is 1 Wrath, 1 Sloth, and 1 Pride before we reuse it again. Or 2 Wrath, 3 Sloth, and 2 Pride. Aside from that, Everlasting will always be expensive. If we want to just Superbia it, I would not be surprised. The 2 Lust. We get Lust out of Sinclair, we get Lust out of Lucio. So that's not a problem. 4 Sloth, we get Sloth out of almost everyone here. 2 Gloom. The Gloom is like the trouble. Yeah, the Gloom is the trouble. Lord Lu provides it on skill 1, but we want to be swapping Heishos as often as possible. Wei Sung only provides a sloth that we need, otherwise it's envy and gluttony, which is not what we need. Okay, we also get lust from... Okay, we should be okay. Then pride is the next annoying one. Pride we get from Malphos, we also get from Lord Lu. Wei Sung does not. The FUM members, I believe only Valencina would provide, yeah. Valencina would provide. Okay. Do we ditch the burn crutch? K-burn. Taylor. Over Fire Fist or other healthy burn potency, yeah. Virgil or ring member. Taylor. Wouldn't be Index. Index is too specific. Actually, no, he'd be like Pinky. Easily Pinky. You only got 1 seasonal extract ticket, 6k lunacy. Should you roll on the off chance? Whelp is mid. Up to you. Like, most people that aren't, like, making content, there isn't as much a reason to roll unless you really, really want the new toys to play with. In my case, I should get hands-on, so I should at least try to roll for one of them, if possible. If I get both of them, be fucking great. If I get one of them, then that's enough. I just borrow the other one from someone else. For Walpeepee, though, I don't have a choice. I need to grab both, basically. I need to grab both. If not, all future content just suffers. But yeah, in a nutshell, let's put together all the ego resources that we need to make this work. Ego cost. Everlasting and Capote. This is like the bare minimum to get things up and running. So Everlasting as it is 2 Lust, 4 Sloth, 2 Gloom, 3 Pride. Meanwhile, Capote should be adding Wrath to that, from what I recall. Capote is 2 Wrath. Two Wrath. 1 more Lust. And that brings us up to 6 Sloth. Okay. That's our aim, basically. Like, bare minimum to make this, at least a decent bit of this combo work. Now, if we want it to be stronger, Everlasting, Capote, let's say Cavernous, Indicants, Unbrilliance. Now suddenly things are going to look a fair bit more expensive. Okay, hang on a second then. That's the replacement from Brilliant. Just take a different ID. At that point, just take a different ID. Just pick anyone that can get you extra tremor bursts. Off the top of my head, any of the guys who can throw rocks. One sec, does Don have one? Oh yeah, Don can tremor burst. Don can triple tremor burst even. With Wishing Khan. So, Wishing Khan's a terrible replacement, but Wishing Khan can do the job. Alright, let's see. What am I working with? Yeah, Tremor Team is just ego setup. Also, Kamui is live. Thank fuck, I can actually send people over in a bit then. So, Everlasting, Capote, then we want Cavernous. Adding up Cavernous is the worst part of this, because it's another free Sloth, free Gloom, and 2 more Pride on top of that. It becomes a lot more expensive. Indicant's Trial is also stupid expensive because it's above. That's 7 more Wrath and 3 more Pride. Nine Wrath, 8 more Pride, and last, Unbrilliant Glory, which is to be able to get the full effects out of it, that becomes 12, that becomes 13, and that becomes, let's see, another 3 on top, 11. Oh, welcome, welcome. Thanks for subscribing. We are pretty close to done. It's upcoming, technically not live, but about 20... Camel, you fuck! Go live already. I'm guessing the man released instead like a reaction video to all the stuff coming out. It does well for the fella. It does well for the fella. I can't fault him for that. Indicant's Trial, any decent? You've had it since Kanto 3, but only seen it so decent damage when Rodya corrodes and decides to friendly fire. Indicant's Trial is specifically if you need to soften them up. And at that, Indicant's Trial can be a little troublesome. Hang on. Let me explain. Indicant's Trial. The main appeal of Indicant's Trial isn't the ego itself, or most of its effects. The main appeal is Searing Birdcage. Let me see if I can just get Searing Birdcage on screen in a way that you guys can actually read it. Here we go. Searing Birdcage. This is the appeal. It's Wrath. It is specifically the Wrath resistance. Not necessarily Wrath fragility. That works slightly differently in the math. It's in a different bracket. This is the reduction of Wrath resistance. If something has 0.5 times Wrath resistance, you turn this into 0.1 and functionally double the damage Wrath is doing. If it has 1 Wrath resistance, you turn this into 1.5, which gives you 50% more damage. And if it already has 1.5, you gain it to 2.0, and that is only like a third extra, 33%. It's diminishing returns is the problem. You mainly want this if you need to soften something but can't soften it in any other means. The problem being is that Searing Birdcage is very difficult to stack high outside of using the corrosion. So unless you have unlimited ego resources, then yeah, it's a little troublesome. Yes. Yeah, because it directly works on resistance. Whereas Wrath Fragility, hang on. Let's see, do I have something that can just blah blah blah. Capote Ishmael, I think. Oh, you do Wrath damage up. There we go, Wrath Fragility. For a bit, yeah. Wrath Fragility, on the other hand, is very specific because it needs a skill to benefit from. You do not suddenly amp up extra external sources. You only do it from skills. Since we're doing Tremor Scorch, and Tremor Scorch does Wrath damage as like a separate explosion, rather than as part of the skill damage, this is what helps that out. Or Indicant's Trial helps it out more than Wrath Fragility does, basically. Because this is specifically from Wrath skills, not from Wrath damage. That's the main difference between using Indicant versus using, say, Capote over here. Yes, I know, it's like literally just splitting hairs, but yeah, it's stupid. Being able to directly reduce resistances is a lot stronger compared to just having, or not directly reducing them and just having fragility. So it's made for fun units. It's one of the things that a lot of Rodya fans have been waiting for, just a way to use fucking Searing Birdcage or Indicant's Trial in an effective method that doesn't need you to bring this fucker. Yes, it's a direct upgrade. Now, the only time it isn't a direct upgrade. The only time it isn't a direct upgrade, Searing Birdcage isn't a direct upgrade under a very specific condition. That being, if the unit already has 2x Wrath resistance. This means that, oh, Searing Birdcage can't take it over ×2. So if it's already weak to Wrath, no need for Searing Birdcage. Rather, you're already bringing stuff that's going to absolutely obliterate the fucker, so you just don't need it. Anyhow. This is the most expensive combo possible. There's probably one or two more things you could probably do in the preamble and setup. Say, who knows, a Blind Obsession, or God knows what the fuck else you could load in for like extra damage ups and everything. But this is pretty much the good stuff that you would end up using. Now, if for some reason you didn't have Capo Merceau ready to go and wound up and all that, you use Crushbound Past. Crushbound Past is a stupid number of Tremor Bursts. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4 Tremor Bursts. That rhymes. Yeah, a bit unfortunate, eh? Anyway. There's Unbrilliant Glory. When you incandescent that thing, you get 1 Tremor Burst. And you get extra sloth damage. It is nice to have. It also ups the amount of burn on the thing. So if your burn wasn't already capped out as well, or if your burn and your tremor weren't already capped out, it helps out a fair bit. That's the good thing with Unbrilliant Glory. But yeah, there are a lot of extra effects you can abuse. Especially with Tremor game plans, it's just they all take so much time to build up. Because yeah, Crushbound Past is one. Droshu doesn't really have one to make use of, unfortunately. If she did, and we had a really good Tremor unit, I would be mentioning it, but she doesn't. Everlasting, on the other hand, you would have got it. You would have gotten it when you were a new player building a burn team. Unbrilliant Glory was the single best one in there. Yeah. Durante to reduce cost. Durante erases the cost by quite a lot. On the other hand, your very best friend by a long shot is over here. Everlasting. The reason we care about Everlasting is Tremor Everlasting. When you Tremor Burst something, there is a chance to trigger another Tremor Burst. So when hit by skills that trigger a Tremor Burst, chance to trigger a Tremor Burst. It repeats that damn clause. So you can do it twice. You can get 2 extra bursts out of this thing. For every time that you would trigger a burst. And there's no limitation on this, so to speak. It's very disgusting. This is on top of if you've already entangled with Scorch, then each time that's an extra proc of Scorch, potentially 2 extra procs of Scorch. And then on top of that, when you use anything else with, say, Reverb, for example, that is then the extra proc of Scorch and Reverb. And if you're somehow, stupid enough to then want to include Hemorrhage, you could get a proc of Hemorrhage, a proc of Reverb, a proc of Scorch. But that's all too ridiculous, basically. Night Owl's Gregor any good on Tremor? You know, he's fine on Bleed, though he's really useful on Ring for his sticky debuff. In a Ring team, he's very serviceable because of that debuff that he provides. He also provides Bind, which is very good. It helps all the Ring members stay on top of things. For the Night Owl's Gregor inside of Tremor, we don't have quite as nice a base yet. We have Contempt Ore plus Night Owls, and then you kind of have to pick between either going full Bleed or full Tremor from there. And even then, his Tremor is kind of just okay. It explodes into Bleed, but Bleed is very difficult to maintain. At least without, say, Sanguine Desire also thrown in there. Bleed can be maintained by Ring. Bleed is very shit as a secondary or third status effect because of how much that you require. And yeah, Night Owl's Gregor does get very greedy with count and whatnot. But yeah, so Tremor Everlasting, you then look back to everything else in that combo. Reverb procs Tremor Burst, Crushbound or Maso skill 3 procs up to like 3, maybe 4 bloody Tremor Bursts. Sinclair skill 3 more Tremor Bursts. Heathcliff skill 2 more Tremor Bursts. Rodya Disposal, 5 fucking Tremor Bursts if we're thinking that it is. Will she count as an ammo unit? She inevitably counts as one. She has bullets. Unless they're saying that these are rounds and not bullets, but it says unique ammo, so it's right there. She's an ammo unit. What if someone doesn't have the Season 6 Fun Duo? Let's see, if you don't have the Season 6 Fun Duo, you are honestly a fair bit out of luck. They are the good stuff. I'll be real with you, they're the pretty fucking good stuff. Because their replacements are, like, if you look at Maso doesn't have fantastic replacements. You'll instead be looking elsewhere for, say, burn IDs. So, let's see. Sync Dawn, but that's the same season, so you're screwed out of it. You could throw in Faint Aroma if you really wanted to. Faint Aroma does, like, some job. If you got the Hornet is burn. Hornet's pretty good on burn and keeping the burn going. Because a lot of Maso's benefits are mainly from his egos. It's just that the Capo is like the perfect base to make use of. Does Thumb Salt retain his value in longer, meaty fights? That's the thing. He can maintain his value, it's just you need to bring along ammunition. Say hello to the man with ammunition. His job is to refill ammunition. Basically, if you can find a way to ammo tribute, you have no problems. The thing is, getting that ammo tribute is a bit harder than you may think in this particular team. Actually, no. It's quite easy. Everyone here should have pride. Let's see. Bost has pride, Blue has pride, Wei Sang doesn't. Sinclair can provide 1 pride on his own, so if you can combo it with any of the rest, that works. The new Rodya also has pride, so yes, you can refill ammunition decently well. In juggling Scorch and Hemorrhage, if you want to mix the two, you can. It's just that you need an entanglement first. Because they don't do entanglements. Scorch isn't entanglement, Scorch is conversion. So you need someone else who can entangle it first for you, but then to layer on Scorch at the same time as Hemorrhage. Otherwise it's like a bit troublesome. Can you control who Sinclair gives ammo to? It's the earliest. Earliest in deployment order. So not the fastest cunt. The cunt that you select as number 1. That's who you're looking for. But yes, I will still never forgive them for making propellant rounds a thing, where it is the meme of, oh yeah, you flick the barrel upwards instead, and now the force comes out the top, like you can bend bullets, or propellant in this case, and it's fucking ammunition. Fucking hate it. Anyway. For very long fights, better to counter turn 1 when he has overheats, he only loses 4 clash power. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, typically speaking, just layer on the stuff for the combo. There are alternative routes as well. If you want to do the magic bullet route, you are more focused on getting pride out. The only problem is generating pride in this composition is a little harder. At least if you want things to get tremor at the same time, it's a little harder. Because then you're working out skill 1s and some skill 2s and it gets a little funky. Camui's live. Camui just started. Alright, I can send them I can send people over. Hang on then. Let me get up my... Since you have to do it by YouTube's own studio thing, it's like its own maddening sort, basically. Because I then need to go over to... my Go Live section, manage the stream specifically, go in. Oh, whoops, stream key is currently on something else. Got to change it over to that. Then I got to go edit. Poor Farm, Fire Fist, Smaller Otis, Liu Yisung. Doable. You still get a good amount of stuff out of that, I'll be honest. The main part with Otis is you're there for the sheer number of tremor bursts that she offers. You're only going to want to tremor burst as often once you have count going, and your sources of count in that case will depend highly on the new stuff that we get. Either they have really good count numbers and we can just be self-sufficient, or you have to wait for Shin to activate on Musou and Shin to activate on Valencina for things to start working the way that you would want them to. If both of those happen, perfect. Because Musou, once he gets Shin, Unrelenting, or whatever the bloody hell it's called, once he then starts getting extra tremor count, that's when he's actually really bloody consistent. The problem is getting there is a bitch. He has to burn through a lot of fucking bullets. Sinclair only does enough tremor count for his own bursts, so if you only bring Sinclair, he's going to burst away all the tremor by himself. Mola Otis with Aroma or Zhong. Zhong's a bit awkward. Mola, let's see, Aroma is also a bit awkward. They both fit a little nicer in syncing. They're not exactly perfect. If you want someone that's like perfect for tremor count, you're then looking at Urodivi Roshu. And that's kind of like the worst one I can recommend, but it's also like the best one, because at this point, she just provides so much bloody count that it stabilizes on its own. Liu Yisung's fine. You have enough RAF to go around that you can start healing SP, and SP is a bit of a premium if you don't have a way of healing it, because you then need to win clashes, and because clashes are so emphasized by these two new FUM members, you do want that SP as fast as possible. Anyhow, I will send you guys over to Kamui, since I've been yapping for like 3.5 hours somehow, and I still need to be up early tomorrow. When I wake up tomorrow, it'll be for handling a TTRPG one-shot. That one-shot will be for APR. The current players that I have are Ramen, so Ramen in a Cupboard, Opalu, Sinna, and Jaka. So yeah, that'll be in like 12 hours from now, give or take. Anyhow, you can watch me hit the floor for a bit. Listen to my jank arrangement of Rolling Girl that I have lying around, and then you'll just get sent off to Kamui. Oh, and this animation of me hitting the floor, this is done by my cousin.